Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the first Ashes Wednesday of 2022.
Is it the first one?
Have
we not done one yet?
A minute since we played Ashes.
Well, what's up, Ashes players?
Thing we did is we had Lulu and Auric releasing, and we played the pre-constructed decks.
Oh, right.
Then we went on holiday.
Because Auric's the greatest design challenge on the planet.
Then we
right
showed
now.
back out. Yeah, I mean, enlightenment should not be easy.
That's right. Well, it should be the easiest thing in the world.
Well, it just depends.
You just have to realize it. Any moment it could happen. Right? Could happen right now, Bryce. Could happen right now, this second.
Attempting to realize it, you've already failed.
If you just let go right now, it's done. You realize you're one with the universe.
Well,
your identity goes away, your self dissolves, your ego disappears.
Good luck.
What's left, you know?
Nothing.
We're going to talk about Demona and Hope today. We're going to go through those previews.
Yep.
Talk about the cards.
It's exciting. The next release. We're kind of getting in the flow now.
Take a look at some things. And then we're going to build Lulu. Because you had a very keen interest in doing so. And we thought to ourselves, you know what we haven't really done is done a deck building series where we share with you how to build a 1.5 tier Ashes deck. And so we thought for sure that this would be helpful content. So we're going to do a few of these in the series. It's probably going to be 2 to 5, probably more than 2. That's not really a series. Technically the shortest series possible, 2 episodes. Probably 3 to 5 episodes because we'll see how it goes. It'll start with building and getting the concept down. And then we'll start testing that concept into your basic Impossible German style decks.
Yeah.
And see if it can hold its own. And then we'll tweak. And then we'll try to find a way to win a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully that does happen. I'm a big fan of Lulu. She was one of the promo Phoenix Born in the 1.0. So was Demona, who I'm excited about. She was a promo back in the day, but never had an official release, I believe. So anyways, I am excited to build that. Also, just last half of last year, we did a lot of decks by people like Impossible German. We were just playing them, finding links, playing them, and made me realize just how far from the top of the game I even am. Not in like a bad way. I'm not necessarily trying to climb that mountain.
Yeah.
But it is inspiring and humbling to see just how high that mountain goes. It's like someone dropped you off in a helicopter up there. Yeah. And you're like, oh,
there's more up here.
That base camp I've been going to isn't even close to the top.
You know, speaking of that, you know, I've got a great story about Roy Clark that my dad tells all the time.
Who is Roy Clark?
Roy Clark, one of the most famous country musicians on earth, a star of Hee Haw.
Hee
Haw. You remember that? You remember that? You're a Chelsea guy. You remember that? Anyway, he said, you know, he was getting really famous, getting really popular. What's up?
Just got a black screen.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Well, now we got a blessing of lightning.
He's adding stuff from the dead.
Oh, cool. Well, did you guys know that it just freaked out? Like the screen just went blue and the cards were everywhere. Yeah, okay.
We're just getting people on their toes.
That was intentional? Okay, great. So the story about Roy Clark, he was talking about stardom, and he was like, you know, I started playing bigger and bigger gigs, and I started climbing that ladder of success, and I got really famous, and I got, you know. And then he said, and finally, I realized that I was at the top of the ladder, and I broke through the clouds, and I looked over the top of the clouds once I got my head through. You know what he said he saw? The ladder kept going forever. So I feel like that's kind of where a lot of these games go, is like you can just get better forever until the end of time. Now, question for you, though. Tell me about this. Another anecdote I'll give you.
Okay.
I, as you might know, got into the craft of drinks, mixed drinks.
Yep.
Cocktails,
as it were.
Yeah.
Many drinks have been featured here on Ashes Wednesday.
But what I found was that at a certain point, I was less able to enjoy the act of going out to a bar because I felt like I could make everything at home. So I intentionally decided I would no longer make certain drinks so that I could order them when I was out, and it would be special.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So if it makes sense...
Anything with egg in it?
Yeah, nothing of the dry shake. And those Ango sours, man, you can dump a bottle of Ango for me in your restaurant. But the other piece of, so how that relates is, do you feel like with Ashes, genuine question, do you feel like with Ashes...
Chat's killing me. I got to come back to it. So go ahead.
It's the competitive game that you are intentionally not driving the stake in as hard because there's only so much competitive brain space you have. Maybe you want Fab to be the obsessive game for you, and you want to always just enjoy Ashes, so not getting like crazy competitive at it is a way to actually continue to enjoy it at a different level than if you were like competing.
Short answer, yes. Longer form answer that is worth breaking down, I think, because I'm sure there are a ton of people like this. Normally, most of my life, I have played like a game.
Yeah.
At a time. When I say play a game, it's like obsessed with it, testing, tweaking constantly, texting about it, posting on forums, and then groups on Facebook, and now on Discord channels.
Yeah. That's been an improvement.
Discord? Discord is the evolution of the social community groups that it's a profound shift from like Facebook.
Yeah.
/ Reddit even.
You remember, so I thought forums were great. I still do. In fact, we thought about doing a Covenant forum a couple of years ago. I was like, let's just do a forum.
Yeah.
So I loved forums, and then it got worse when it went to Facebook, like all things, people included.
Well,
and then it got better whenever it went back to Discord.
There was a minute on Facebook where I liked Facebook for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was when
.edu phase.
That was better. But I think there was even a phase where Facebook groups and just the way Facebook was working was like, because before that it was forums, and forums are fine, but like, they're usually like kind of like a back alley. Like, you have to really be involved to be signed up for it, and this kind of whole thing's happening.
You remember whenever you'd post that thread, and then you'd be like, I'm going to go to bed. And then you'd wake up, and there'd be like 16 replies, and you'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was definitely, that was really, compared to not having anything, that was great.
Yeah.
But on Facebook, obviously, one of the upsides is everyone already had an account, and the vast majority of the accounts aren't anonymous. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot harder to just like enter the weird internet, this is from him, or angry, or just being
the anonymous piece.
Yeah. So there's that element.
Yeah.
But then Discord is kind of a fun. It's so much different to like be live interacting with people than it is to. Threads aren't the same. Like, you can't just go leave your mind and think people are going to read it. It's like it's going to disappear in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also nice in Discord that you get the mention feature. So, like, I wake up and I've been mentioned twice, and I like, I check it. I still don't know how to check it, honestly. I have to, like, scroll through and find the highlighted piece. I think there's a way, but...
You go to the search bar.
Yeah.
Start typing mentions, and it'll pop up, and then...
That can't be the most intuitive way to do that, right?
It's really easy.
I know that's how... I don't disagree that's how it works. I disagree with that it should work like that.
Yeah, so if I just go to our server...
I've got to do a search for mentions with me in it?
It has it here. Like as the search options.
Yeah.
So you just click the mentions one and then start typing your name. And then click your name. And then here it's going to be a list of any time you've ever been mentioned.
That is helpful. Yeah. I'll use that now moving forward. So you get the best of both worlds.
Anyways, so back to your Ashes question. I've historically been really involved in a single community and a single game.
I've been right there with you, buddy.
With the advent of 2020 and our 5-day, back then, a week streaming schedule, the time in my life that I have to play games... increased exponentially. But at the same time, not the amount of time I have to be that obsessive about a game did not increase exponentially, right? Especially because we're spending so much time on stream playing a game that if you are going to play a game outside of that game, it's got to be like you only get really one. It's even worse than before, actually, because there's only so much brain space for that. But all that to say, I've really been enjoying exactly what you were saying, which is I don't feel like I'm bad at Ashes, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better since we started streaming pretty much every week for the past year and a half. But at the same time, playing those decks made me realize, even though I have gotten a lot better, I'm nowhere close, and it actually made me really appreciate, throughout my life, it was just kind of, I don't know why anyone would want to experience a game any other way than I'm getting to experience it, because I feel like I'm getting the full experience,
just like,
right? Yeah, but there is...
For like a year.
There's a charm to the exploration process of not even having the goal of building the most efficient, best deck, but just enjoying the exploration and seeing what's possible and discovering cards that you just want to... Like, you were on an Iron Rhino kick.
Yeah, I still am. Some would say he's still on the Iron Rhino kick.
I think there's a place for the obsessive version of a game, and that's a certain kind of experience, right? But I think there's a huge place for being able to play any game, and I think that's one of the cool things about Ashes is it has that depth. There are people out there, Impossible Germ being one of them, among others, that are at that level. And
Jason.
You can get
Chaos
there.
Theory,
yeah. And they're going to experience a different version of this game than I'm ever going to experience.
And it's like a totally cool version, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like we've got, let's say we get 32 players and everybody's kind of on that level, and it becomes a mind game of who's bringing what and who's going to counter what with what they're bringing. And it becomes a lot like Netrunner too. So like the vast majority of people playing Netrunner were not playing it at the Dan Darginia level.
Yeah.
Not even Dan was playing at the Dan Darginia level. Half the time he was just a wild man.
Once the sleeves roll off, it's never know what's going to happen next.
But like the conversations around Netrunner at the highest level were not about what's best. It was about what is everybody bringing, because what's best is now very subjective based on what's in the field. Yeah. And I feel like Ashes is at that place too, especially with that first 5 and with so many strategies coming out of the gate. It's like, well, if somebody's bringing like Hydras, which you can't technically do anymore, then this deck that I might bring would be better. So like if I know Jason's bringing this, and then I'm going to bring this deck, and that's going to give me a good matchup there, and I've got to make sure that I know my one card that I move in from my first 5 is going to counter this strategy. But then somebody can bring an out of left field strategy that nobody was prepared for, even if it's a little bit less efficient, and like wipe the floor.
Yeah, which I really
So it
like.
becomes that kind of like game theory thing.
And I don't know, do you feel this way? Like I think this experience over the past couple of years has really made me appreciate we've waxed and waned on different opinions about organized play and competitiveness and prizes and all that kind of stuff. Even CCGs versus LCGs and all those conversations in between. But I feel like with Ashes particularly, I'm so much more aware of there is, and it's less because of just the way the size of the community and with the tournaments that are going on and stuff and pandemic and whatnot. But essentially, being a player who enjoys exploring the game and playing it at my level, but then also the game as a sport exists. And, I actually, if there was a big Ashes, world championship at some point, it would be really enjoyable for me to get to watch those top games being played.
Yeah. And not having to be there. Be at that level.
And watch it not feeling like I'm also on that kind of level. Because going back to your cocktail example, it's like there's an amazement to watching it.
Yeah.
If you don't know how it's happening.
Yeah.
You get a cocktail and it's like, I don't even know how this is coming together, but it tastes like something I've never had before. Mm-hmm. But once you know, it's just you can't it's almost like I know people that do like wedding video or film and that kind of stuff, and it's like they can't just watch a movie. Like they're thinking about framing and the shot and the cut and how long they spent focused here and how the music hit and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar to reading in that way too. I feel that way. It's like my uncle learned how to speed read, and then he was like, I can't ever read slowly again. And I was like, huh. That's probably it's like less enjoyable. You're just like blazing through stuff. So there's a beauty to articulating your desire to just slow down and enjoy something for what it is.
Yeah, and that's absolutely how I feel about Ashes.
Yeah, me too, man.
So
me too.
There's some really
So
great...
disclaimer, it might not be the best Lulu deck, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, and we had some really good, speaking of Discord, we were doing those videos at the end of last year where we were kind of showing off top tier meta decks that we were playing mediocrely. But a lot of people, someone's mentioned that. It was like, I really enjoy watching you guys play these decks, but also I really enjoyed watching like Steven try to figure out Iron Rhino, even though it's never going to be. I enjoyed watching that process. And then a bunch of other people were saying the same thing. So that's part of where this came from too, is like both an interest in exploring on that level again, but then also just hearing from the community, which is great.
You're saying Lulu Rhino deck is up.
Lulu versus the Rhino.
Let's look at these previews, man.
Yeah.
I am so jacked about Demona. This is my kind of Phoenixborn right now.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Are you kidding me? She just summons awesome stuff.
I literally have not looked at these previews.
All right.
I'm aware that they exist, but I need you to tell me what they do.
We got, have Demona?
How do you spell it?
We pulled Demona. D-I-M-O-N-A. Daimona. As commander of the Reborn army, Demona brings with her the authority to promote her most loyal knights for their hard efforts in battle. Allies that survive a fight can be refreshed from their exhaustion and are awarded with a resplendent Empyrean mount to lead the charge once more. I tend to love horses, I guess, in games. I do like knights, mobility.
Yeah. Mobility or nobility?
Mobility. But both, I suppose. So she's got a 16 hit point, which is one of the lowest.
That's low. Yeah, 15 I think is the lowest we've seen, right?
7 battlefield.
Okay.
So that's unreasonable. And 3 spell board, which I like. I like a small spellboard because I can't get too weird. I've got to choose 3.
Well,
basically.
and a small spellboard with such a wide battlefield
Yeah.
is an interesting balancing mechanic.
Yeah, you figure. Yeah, I assume she might play a lot of allies, particularly because of this ability. Promote, main action. Two of the basics. Exhaust it. Remove an exhausted ally you control from play.
Okay.
If you do, place an Empyrean Mount Conjuration onto your battlefield and place that ally face down under that unit.
So it's just an on-command mount.
On command, Horsey comes in, and an exhausted ally goes under it.
Got you. So that's already now. That's different. Is the standard mount rule they have to be unexhausted, or can you remove it exhausted?
I think they have to be.
I thought they had to be unexhausted
Yeah, it
in my
feels
head,
right,
but
yeah.
it's been. I haven't used mounts very much.
Yeah,
and
we have.
It's been
none at all.
Yeah,
we haven't ever used
I
them.
had
really.
I used them for a brief moment. We'll see what they say.
We'll see what the chat says. But look at this Empyrean Mount. So it's a 3/3/3. Recover 3 is interesting on this, but it means that if you pump its life.
Nick Conley saying I'm right. Beautiful
Boom.
words. Nick, hope you're doing well, man.
What's up, Nick? Battlemaster. When this unit is declared as an attacker, you may choose a target unit an opponent controls, and that unit must block if able.
Hold the phone. 3/3. You choose a unit that has to block you, and they must have able.
That's right. And then it has the dismount, of course. And when the unit is destroyed, place any allies you own underneath this unit into your hand. So you can cycle your allies back. You have a come into play ability.
So
you put them on a horse, come back to hand.
That's like a super mount.
It's a super
Like
mount.
the value in you play something, use it, maybe it gets a couple damage on it, it's exhausted, maybe your opponent steady gazes it, right? Which you wouldn't because you know this exists.
Right.
And then you get this 3/3 that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that costs how many basics?
That costs you
On
2
Demona?
basics and an exhausted ally. Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's good.
But check this out. It gets better. She has other signature cards, if you can believe it. These Rayward Knights. Have you seen these Rayward Knights? You haven't seen the Rayward Knights?
Impossible German saying we're not getting the card pop-ups.
Yeah. Is that correct? Okay. Rayward Knight. 3 basics. 3/3/3. So it's the same idea,
3 of a kind.
but it's 3 basics.
Look at that horse. I like the hair.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's kind of what I'm doing with my hair. I got a haircut next week, and I'm just trying to manage.
I don't know. Look at that. If you can pull that off, I like it.
Like that swoop
Yeah.
to arms.
Just shave the side of your head, you know? That look.
So when the Rayward Knight comes into play, search your discard pile for an ally, shuffle it into your draw pile. You play it, you shuffle an ally into your deck from your discard pile. So we got a full cycle going on. Recurrent ally that way, recurrent ally from the mount, recurrent allies different ways.
And this is also a signature card, but it's not.
Yeah.
This is an in your deck kind of card.
Yeah. It's an in your deck kind of card. That's right.
And dude, all these being basics, she's not tied to a magic type
It's
at
tied
all.
to nothing.
Yeah, we're talking. Upcoming podcast probably going to do is basically closed versus open system design. Ash is being very open in that most Phoenixborn can play most cards, kind of a thing. But seeing this is really exciting because she could be paired pretty much anywhere. I know this is supposed to be the time die cycle. You know, they introduced the time die with Breaker of Fate, and then all the expansions are like 1 type plus time
Yeah.
thing. So I'm curious what cards actually end up coming in her pack.
All right. We got Rayward Knight. Yeah, so that's that. And then important, side action charge. Take an attack action targeting a unit and declaring this unit as the attacker. Normally it's a main action.
I was like, why would you ever do this? And then I immediately realized it.
So play and charge as your side action.
Which
It's
great.
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, the 3 Demona cards there, 2 out of 2 thumbs over to Nick.
It's just fundies, right?
Yeah.
It's just total fundies. And it's like Battlefield stuff, which I get really into Battlefield stuff.
Jason, also known as Impossible German, saying she's maybe the most resilient Phoenixborn against Mill so far. Tons of basic cost, tons of way to recycle allies.
Because she doesn't need to meditate.
Yeah.
Right. You can't meditate if you're riding a horse. I dare you. 2 more cards here from the original. We've got
Next week on Ash's Wednesday.
We got Hope Everthorn, the Phoenixborn of Masriel. Battlefield of 6, spellboard of 5,
All right.
hit point 17. Has a duplicate ability. It's going to be all of your side and main action. It's going to be 1 basic. Choose a conjuration you control with a life value of 1. Place a copy of it onto your battlefield. At the end of the turn, destroy that copy. This is the kind of thing for you.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, because it's going to be broken.
Read that again.
So you take a 1 life conjuration
1
that's
life
currently
left
on the battlefield.
or 1 life
that life value.
printed.
Yeah, 1 printed life. Make a copy of it. Do something with it. At the end of the turn, which I don't think is the round.
No, it's your active turn.
This is the turn. Destroy that copy.
Which is interesting because it's a side and a main action.
Yeah, so it's got to have a when it's destroyed effect, I guess.
Yeah.
Does the sheep do that? When it's destroyed, something weird happens?
I've seen the sheep once, and it was across from me. Is that right? And then
That's a turn in this game, right? You have a turn, and then we have a round together.
yeah, it's a turn.
Like we dance around.
Frank saying there was some hilarious chats earlier because someone said that they always love marking how many minutes into an Ashes stream it takes before we totally left field it and go somewhere crazy.
Like minute 0.
Well, and then they
usually.
were like, it was literally like a minute and 20 seconds in. You were talking about enlightenment and like down this whole path. But then I like seeing this. Frank saying, I come for the games, I stay for the philosophy, including meditating on ours.
Oh, it's just side action and exhaust.
Okay,
That's
that
right.
checks out more.
That's
so
right. Side action, make copy, main action, do something with it.
So 1 life things that are good.
Yeah.
Wasn't that messed up hound thing you were playing forever?
Dude, how about that? Talk to me about Frostfang, dude. 3-1. Is that an ally?
It's an ally, not a conjuration.
Dang.
I know. Otherwise, you know how I feel about the Frostfang.
We'll have to look at the deck builder and see what's got 1
I'm
life.
trying to work, see if we can work in an Altart Frostfang. I love him that much, into the league stuff. Oh, speaking of league, we're supposed to talk about that. You have your list? Where'd your list go?
Oh, it's
hidden.
under the computer. You can't see a list. It was under the computer. Yeah, hey, let's talk about the league for a second.
People have been talking.
We got the league coming in. It'll be processed, I think, next week. So this is the 3-monther.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's now or never. It's join now. It'll get processed next week.
We're coming up on the end of the 3rd season, which was the, I think, is that Cole? Is that one of the promo? Or Noah? Which one is it?
Noah's 3.
The one that's coming up?
Yeah,
or the one that we just had?
the one people are actively playing right now
I can tell you.
get.
Cole.
Cole. There it is. 1,000.
You want to pull that? Can we
million
pull
blades.
the Cole up? We got Cole?
Are we back on Pop City? There he is. So that's a full example of the full art that's going to be sent out to anyone that played at least 8 of the 12 weeks of the league. The next league is starting the first Wednesday of March. Right? We're in February. Man, it's been a weird year with the snow, COVID.
I'll pull up a calendar.
Yeah.
What do we got? We got 2 weeks till March, 3 weeks till March?
3 weeks, yeah. So we'll be charging soon for that next league. So if you want in, join that. It's super easy. The people there are awesome. You'll have to be a part of our Discord channel. If you play 8 of 12 weeks, you get some cool full art, alternate art promos.
You don't have to be as good at the game as Zach is to play. Most of everyone in the league is just hanging out. Some people playing pre-cons. Everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, there's also this adventure party I keep seeing. It's like these. It's
What?
like people made a list of, I forget who it was.
An
Give
actual
me the
adventure
credits
party?
and the thing. So someone made a list for each Phoenixborn that is like in between a pre-con deck and like
Oh.
a tier 1 deck.
That's the kind
I
of thing
believe-
Ashes people would do.
And like people are, it's like this is where you go next if you're new, beyond just playing the deck as you do it, and it's really great.
Great. I love that.
Anyone, who did it and what's it called?
Also, what's the next promo? We have that?
Oh, we do. It's Jessa.
Yeah, you want to do we want to pop that one up?
Let's just show it.
Oof.
Oh, that's the full art on the back. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one before. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure I have, but I
It looks-
didn't realize that's what was going on.
It looks really good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All you got to do is play 8 matches over 12 weeks.
Yeah, that's it. And you're
Isn't
off to
there
the
other
races.
stuff? Not just Jessa. There's other stuff.
Yeah,
going
there's
on
an
too.
ally that goes with it, right?
Who's the ally?
Adventuring
there it
Party
is.
1 and 2 by Impossible German. Look,
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah. So we got the Jessa going out next league, and the Anchornaut going out next league.
That's kind of like themed after her, right? Which looks really cool, the alternate art. So if you play 8 of 12 weeks, you'll get 3 of the Anchornaut, and then you'll get the alt Jessa as well.
Terrence says that makes me want to play. Well, I guess it's working. 1 sign up to go.
Jason saying the Adventuring Party articles are 2 sets of 6 decks that can be made from a single full Ashes collection. So you can have them all built at the same time.
Beautiful.
And he says super good for the TC League. Yeah, I totally agree. I've seen that. and people talk extremely highly of it. So if you're newer, you have stuff, and you're looking to kind of go to that and start building some different kind of decks, that's a great place to start. And our league is also a wonderful place to be. The Discord community there is awesome, and it's been super friendly, super easy to set up the webcam stuff. If you have questions on that kind of setup, just post in the Discord channel, and people will help you. We should probably do something about that at some point.
What's that?
Just like have an actual like, here's the
How to stream, how to webcam, or
here's
whatever.
3 things you should get to join the league, kind of a thing. Here's the recommended. I don't even know.
Recommended setup. They're the lowest cost setup, and then the
some
Bugatti
people like
setup.
use their
or something.
phone.
Yeah.
But you all have to have your phone for the camera and something else to view their screen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also
2 phones.
webcams and stuff.
If your burner phone and your main phone.
A lot of people have like a laptop, and then like their phone is the camera and the laptop is the I'm viewing your table kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Not everyone has a burner phone? You don't have one of them?
Not more. No. Never.
Okay.
Not once. I do have a pager though.
Do you?
No.
It's a kind of weird thing you would actually have. Yeah, come play in the league. Come play in the league. Come on, it's right here. Wait, you want to? Here, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link right now.
If they tag me in those adventure posts, I'll pin them.
Okay. Impossible Journal, if you can, well, yeah, I'll make sure that happens. Shuffle Bus, what's going on? Now, I will say earlier, Chaos Theory was mentioned this too, and Shuffle Bus is a part of this. There aren't any official big Ashes events happening yet, but they've been running over in there's an Ashes Discord, and I know Shuffle Bus is a big part of this. Tons of tournaments and stuff. So if you also aren't getting enough in the Discord League or just in general, they're doing some really cool stuff. Worth checking out.
Do we have a pretty link for this? A cove link for the Ashes?
Yeah,
link?
probably.
Let me try one.
Totally Random Studios saying, wow, that Jessa style Anchornaut. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks amazing, right? Oh, we totally do. Look at that.
In fact, actually, hold on. Let me go grab some.
Just like that. It's like that Channel Fireball box break all of a sudden. Just like, wah, wah, wah. This isn't a preview stream. This is a box break stream. Yeah, cheers, Shuffle Bus. It's great. J.K. Lawling says, I don't have any cards yet, but you've sold me. I'm joining. Great. Hey, pick up a core set and jump in with those precons. Right, you can build a lot out of the core set. You can have a good time with that. And you probably win some games, honestly. People like Zach and I floating around in there.
I think you'd be surprised at how...
Want to top down this?
Yeah, I just want to show it. How friendly and welcoming that community is, and how it's not just a bunch of like people that are way crazy good at it. Looks good. It's hard to explain in person. Look at this thing.
Wow, those do look good. Flip that over. Yeah, dude. Put that on the table.
Come on now. Oh, man. Yeah.
Wow. The woods hold harsh lessons for the unprepared.
Oxford Or,
I'm
it's
always
a
prepared.
set of the Anchornauts, not just one.
It's all three. It's 3 of them.
Yeah, you
3
get a set of
Anchornauts and 1 Jessup.
This is
That's
the,
it.
the promo pack that you would get as part of it.
There you go.
What up, Caesar?
So yeah, join the league. Let's go play in that league. What is it? Wednesday nights, Central Time, 8 o'clock. And it's really cool because you show up and it's like, it's basically like going to a store. Store. It's like the vibe of being in the same place with a bunch of Ashes players. There's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Before the league, you can talk about deck ideas and whatnot. And then after the league, everybody goes to their little digital tables, plays a game. If you don't have a partner or a opponent because somebody didn't show, you can find one. If you're not in the league even, you won't get the prizes. But if you catch this later and you forgot to sign up or whatever, you can come in on Wednesdays and catch some games. And it's just a central, energetic moment for a community. And that's what these online leagues are really good at.
And a lot of people will hang out after, chat, play games. The people are playing for hours after the official start time. So even if you're not in the league, or if you are, there's a lot of games to be had there. And if you're unfamiliar, so it's a subscription. You sign up, you don't get charged until a couple weeks before the league starts, and you'll keep getting charged every 3 months basically until you decide you don't want to play anymore. But as long as you play 8 of 12, you get the prizes, and super simple. But once you're signed up in the Discord channel, there's a Ashes League updates channel. They'll post there when the spreadsheet's been updated with like your table number and stuff, and then you just go play, and it's a good time for sure.
It's the easiest thing in the world. Just go play. Like Yo Play. Remember those Go-Gurts? You ever go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I too grew up in the 90s.
What about those little dippers? You remember, what were those called? Kangaroos?
Dunkaroos?
Yeah, Dunkaroos. Yeah.
Come on now. Gonna learn today. You want to switch back to our top camera?
Oh, how did we get here?
Book Hunter 73, a full playset? Yeah. It would be obnoxious to not give a playset, because then there's going to be people, it's like you're trying to get a set of those. You just have one of those in your deck. That's not fun. That's not what you want.
No, I don't want that.
Now, I am excited, because last league or two ago, we had the Mist Spirit.
You got some more of that?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it. Not over this playmat. People were complimenting the playmat.
Bro.
By the way.
Oh, good. Thanks. All hats off to Jonathan there. You might notice he designs all of our tokens, our mats, designed the visual manual that's driving everything you've seen in the past 6 months or so, including the new intro and everything. It is amazing how much of a difference it makes when you actually put in the work to establish the style and the design principles and the values and the system that you're trying to create. And then stuff pops out and it all looks right, you know? It's amazing.
I'm a big fan.
Whoever,
if you watched our previous streams, it was rough.
Whoever kicked off that process was a freaking genius.
Probably deserves some sort of bonus or raise or something.
Mini bonuses, Christmas ham if nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm not eating ham anymore, I don't think. I think I'm done with the red meat primarily.
I'm as you're aware, I've been exploring the whole food plant-based diet.
Yeah.
But
is an egg whole food?
No.
Well, it seemed pretty whole to me. I mean, it's an egg.
You know, it's not like there's not like a philosophical. You know, I think you get to like vegetarian/vegan, and there's like
there's
a
an
moral,
ethical piece. Yeah.
It's not like eating some eggs is gonna totally wreck the system, but at the same time, like technically, it's not recommended in that. You know, there's all kinds of studies on like what it does to your blood, and
yeah, I've heard the yolks are pretty full of cholesterol, from what I've heard.
Yeah, which science, you know,
that's what my doctor told me.
Every 3 years, different studies come out saying one direction or another, and you know which ones of those are funded by the
egg lobby,
the
big egg
union lobby, protectionists, chicken rights people. Who knows?
Big egg.
Yeah. Anyways,
I tell the best jokes to me.
I've been exploring it, and it's been pretty revolutionary for me. I used to eat eggs every morning, pretty much, and I just had cold turkey. They're gone.
Apparently that'll kill you. Eggs every day.
Not dead yet.
Terrence, is this a league night we can observe? Absolutely. Come on over to the Discord channel.
Yep.
Hop in and go to a table. Mute yourself so you don't squeal and make noise and be like, you had a great play. Unless people want that. Some people might be like, yeah, cool, we can chat and people will explain things if you got questions. If you're a new player looking to play Ashes, pretty much anybody you meet who plays Ashes will want you to become more of a player of Ashes.
Totally. Yeah.
So go in and enjoy it, etc.
And even other questions. So yeah, it's a $30 subscription. You pay $0 when you sign up, and then we'll charge a couple weeks before it starts, and then that gets you into all 12 weeks of the league.
3 months of league play right there.
And then if you play at least 8 of those, it does include, if you're in the U.S., shipping of the promos to you. So that's all part of it.
And Terrence, I love that you're asking this question. We do sell the upgrade kit, yes. $30 if you have, I think you did have the base set, right? If I remember. You got that base set, $30 for the upgrade kit, and then you're off to the races. Get on the sub or not. I mean, it would be helpful.
Yeah, and then the Plaid Hat has all the expansions as well in stock. But if you already own 1.0, the upgrade kit is where you want to go. And then observing, people were asking that last night in Fab 2. It's totally fine to watch. That's part of why we're doing it on the Discord channel, so people can participate and watch, especially people that just want to see how it's going and what it's like. But yeah, mute yourself.
How long is it going to be until we spill coffee on this, Matt? Maybe a couple weeks?
Yeah.
Did we decide we're going to get like a fancy lidded cup for the store 3.0?
That has not been decided.
I really think that's what we should do.
Yeah. I will. I mean, I told you yesterday, but I have recently learned that you can put play mats in the washer.
Yeah.
Which I did.
But you don't want to. I don't want to do that.
I'm just saying, if it gets coffee in it,
it's still white. White things in the washer are not exactly foolproof and getting clean. You know what I mean?
Well,
you're going to bleach it? Can't bleach. It's got red on it. Black.
I don't know, man.
Queen of Lightning preview number 1. Let's hit it. So let's look at the
Galactus. Do y'all Scotch guard that mat or not?
Apparently we can't. Apparently it's not recommended. It's closed cell neoprene, which is in a lot of ways would be hurt by Scotch guard, according to the internet.
Really?
Yeah. It might actually degrade because it already should be waterproof. Neoprene. Wetsuits are neoprene, right? And Scotch guard is about making these waterproof. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to risk it. I just spent money on this plane. I don't want to risk it. The Royal Eye, of course. Let's look at the Wayward Recruit. Now, before I even read this, I have a feeling that this is going to be the kind of alley you're going to want to cycle through on those Empyrean mounts and get back into your deck.
Okay.
1 Angel. So there you go. Now we're starting to get into the color pies. Action to play it. Comes in as a 0/2/1, so not exactly exciting. No attack there. It is armed, though. When this unit comes into play, you may choose a divine die in your exhausted pool and resolve its dice power without paying its cost. So you can put a +1 on something for free when it comes into play. I love that so much.
Including itself.
I love that so much.
Then you can use it. Then you can put it
The
on
die
your mount.
you spend to play it, you can then immediately spend to put on it to give it a 1/2/1, and anything that synchronizes with if this unit has a divine die, this kind of thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing it right here.
I like that. Okay. Was that more or less good at mounting with the horses than you expected?
That's about it's about right.
Okay.
It's not as oppressive as I'm going to be looking
Russell
for.
with some, good suggestion here. Says, now you need some play mats for your play mat.
That's right. Now, here's another thing to keep in mind, okay? Think about the Wayward Knight and the Wayward Recruit. So the Wayward Knight can side action attack something.
Mm-hmm.
So I could play a Wayward Recruit. I could put a +1 on my Wayward Knight and then side action 4 into something.
And force it to block.
And force it.
So you get like a hammer knight who's just got to come to town.
Yeah,
and gets
boom.
roasted.
Or like all those four master vampires and stuff, all the dads. You're just like, yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing as frustrating in this game as vampires and birds. I have nightmares of those vampires.
Related, right?
I played someone in the league, and they were on a vampire scenario. And it
Healing,
was,
man.
It was crazy.
Healing
It's
always
like, I
does
can't
it.
kill your stuff. And they don't go away.
They don't go away. They're vampires. Piercing Light. Let's look at this ready spell on your spell board there. Takes a lion to put it into play. It's a main action. Has a passive. All units you control with a divine die on them have the following: Overkill 1. Anything with a divine die now has Overkill 1.
Well, look, it
Your
writes
Wayward
itself.
Knight kills something, does 1 to the Phoenixborn, bada bing, bada boom. No need to buy any new cards, just buy the precon and be done. Blessing of Lightning, an action spell, discard side action, and an angel die. Choose up to 3 divines in your exhausted pool and resolve their dice powers without paying the cost.
And that's a side action?
That's a side action.
So you could just like +3 something
That's right.
for the round.
That's fantastic.
That's really good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like you just have one of those recruits sitting there. It doesn't look very threatening. They put down their hammer knight. They're like, can't attack because I'll just do my thing. And then you're like, +3 attack you. Dead.
Dude, and a +1 to everything. Like if you had 3 units, everything gets a +1, and then everything also has overkill, and then you swing with everything. That could be a
just be game.
Could be a bamboozler.
Game point match.
That's awesome. I'm glad these cards are all so good. Let's look at the Artist of Dreams preview. We're not going to get to today's preview. You guys can investigate that for yourselves. We'll cover that next time. Artist of Dreams preview number 1. Summon Fox Spirit. Already, you're here, right? Can we... Okay. 1 basic, main action, put the book into play. Then you can exhaust main action, 1 mask to place a Fox Spirit onto the battlefield. Focus 1. Change the cost to a side action instead of a main action.
So they can move quick.
Side action Foxes is probably going to be good. Then we got the Fox Spirit itself.
Man, all the conjuration creatures in this game are just so good.
And you know what's crazy? I mean, it's worth mentioning this. Fernanda is not doing the art anymore.
Yeah.
But they have found a way to make it as good or better.
Yeah, I mean, she has an exhaustive body of work to showcase what it should look and feel like.
Yeah.
Which is helpful.
I mean, this is an incredible piece of art.
Yeah, that's what the fact that these are your main fighters, pretty spectacular. That's one of the most unique realities of Ashes.
You could... Sorry.
I was going to say, it's not like, fierce, dark, epic, edgy dragons and stuff. It's like
It's
a fox spirit. I love it.
You could make it like Studio Ghibli, the dueling game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Spirited
Like,
Away.
look at Myth Spirit. I mean, it's right out of it. So hold on. Someone noting that the only 1 divine dice per unit.
You can't put 3 on. Does a divine die resolution say put this on a unit that doesn't have a divine die? Probably.
Maybe. Yeah. I've never explored it that far.
We're just trying to break things over here. Let's look at this Fox Spirit. It's a 1/1/0.
What's it do?
It has Keen 1 and Pounce 2, which I'm keen to learn. Keen 1, when this unit comes into play, you may raise 1 die in your active pool 1 level. Okay, so it saves you a meditation. Pounce 2, when it's declared as an attacker, add 2 to its attack value for the remainder of the turn if it's targeting an exhausted unit. It's a 3/1 against exhausties.
It's pouncing on the exhausted prey.
So good, and the Holy Knight gets worse. Sad. Those 3 health things just can't live anymore, can they? They just can't. They're so weak. How about a wishing? Well, first of all, let's just sit on that fox for a second.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. I think that's because that costs 1 mask.
Yeah.
That's good value.
Yeah.
Because you basically get to meditate for free, and as a side action if you have the spell focused.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a unit out and the meditation for free.
Ooh, yeah, you've got to watch out, don't you?
And then they can attack immediately at 3 on something exhausted.
Now that's a pounce.
Yeah.
Side actions, fox, pounce something for 3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wee. That's good.
And does it say is exhausted?
If it's targeting an exhausted unit.
Okay, so if their Phoenix form was exhausted, it wouldn't matter.
That's right.
It can't.
Well, isn't it Phoenix-born a unit these days?
Is it?
I think so, because Conjurations, Allies, and Phoenix-born I think are all... No, surely not.
I thought the Phoenix form was 1 level above.
It can't be a unit, right? I mean, it is a unit of exchange in the game. The highest unit.
Joe Solo says that Fox has to be the next plushie we're getting.
Oh, yeah, totally. There's a Miss Spirit back there with a plaid hat on. Isn't that clever? Who did that? Summon Wishing Wing. Ready spell board. Action to put it in. Time die and a main action.
Phoenix-born is not a unit, by the way.
Exhaust it. Yeah, that's right. Place a Wishing Wing conjuration onto your battlefield. Oh, it's another one of these freaking birds, man. That looks like that's an aggro bird.
I like that bird. That bird looks awesome.
So if it's focused twice, you can place a status on the Wishing Wing when it comes in immediately.
I like status token units.
Yeah.
I'm all about the Gilder.
All right, let's take a look at this unit. Conjuration. It has X attack, 1 life, no recover, and is an opportunist. When it comes into play, if you have a turtle in your active pool, place a status token on it. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Bequest X. When this unit is destroyed, you may draw up to X cards, which is the number of status tokens on the unit.
Which is also its attack.
So it attacks for the number of statuses, and then it draws you cards per the number of statuses. Nick working more card draw into this game.
Which is fine, because you lose when you run out of cards.
Yeah, and there's a natural kind of...
And you only ever have 10 resources, so you could have 100 cards in your hand, and it's not going to be broken.
But it's like we were saying, I mean, anytime you're injecting more cards into players' hands, you're increasing the options and therefore the interesting decisions that might happen during a game.
Yeah. Now, I will say, kind of a compelling anti-case to that, and I agree with that concept.
The number
of
degenerate synergies can also increase.
Well, the other factor is if card draw is too common in a game, newer players particularly can have a big hand. It becomes way hard. It's already challenging sometimes to do the right, figure out your lines and ashes.
Yeah.
So you put 10 cards into your consideration of which card should I play. So there's like a going back to the the new memory bank of the player. That's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah. Well, luckily you just put it on a very complex bird, and then new players don't even have to play.
It's not even a complex bird. It's a bird that would take so much time to make it draw you enough cards to create that problem.
Yeah, true.
That it's probably not going to happen. You might draw a couple cards from it, right?
True story. Isn't there stuff? There's probably stuff. There's stuff in this game that makes drawing better, like those horsies, squall stallions. Isn't it if you've drawn cards, you give them attack or something? Are they chained? I heard that squall stallions were getting too good.
Really?
I don't know if they're chained, but
I don't know about that. All right, squall stallion.
Yeah, what's that horsey say?
Unit can be targeted.
Folks can see it.
Place a card from your hand on the top or bottom of your draw pile. If you do, place a status token on it. X is the number of status tokens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there is like the what's her name? Dinner party.
Soraya.
Her whole line is about making both players draw cards, and they'll eventually run out of stuff and do that whole thing.
And Cole, right? Chaos Theory on Cole. Yeah. Discard cards do damage. Yeah, naturally. He's gonna run the aviary. And then Realm Walker. Ooh, it's a new Knight style unit. Main action, 3 dice, a wolf, an hourglass, and a basic. Walk into a bar. Isolate 1. When this unit is declared as an attacker, choose a target opponent to place 1 exhaustion token onto an unexhausted unit of their choice that they control. Declared as an attacker, they only have 1 big unit out, like a rhino. They gotta exhaust it. They choose, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could be so tricky.
Yeah. Well, the stats are smaller than I was expecting from a knight. That's not a knight, right?
It's a realm
Just
walker.
looks like a.
Well, I mean, it's like a 3-die unit. Don't they call those? No, the kids call those knights.
I don't know what defines a knight.
Well, it started with Holy Knight. 3 dice, 3.
That's got knight in the name.
3.
So it's a start.
But then it became also the Grave Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of one that isn't actually called
Celestial
a knight at this
Knight?
point.
Yeah.
Master Vampire is considered a knight unit.
Is it?
Not a knight in the name. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's anything that's 3 dice and a minimum of like a 3/3 stat line. No,
Right.
the kids will call them knights for sure.
The kids.
I've seen it.
Chaos Theory saying Realm Walker is nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine.
Is this an echo unit? Anything that's starting to exhaust stuff gets interesting, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like you could side action exhaust their second unit.
And that's when it attacks.
Yeah, when it attacks you.
Whew. They only have one thing on exhausted attacks, and it's just you're done.
That's where echo can do like that. Put a temporary exhaust on this unit. Attack. This unit now gets exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And what die types was Echo playing?
This one's Illusion Time, but Echo can play anything. I mean, they can all play anything.
Chaos Theory saying it is so good with Echo
So
and Lightbringer.
Echo's stuff, I don't think has anything tied to it. It might have a. Let me see what is Chaos Gravity? I think it might just be basics. Let me just pull up this Echo deck sitting over here.
Squall Stallions are not chained.
Good. Is Crescendo chained yet? Card is bananas. You need Divine or Sympathy to play Chaos Gravity with Echo. So you could do a 3-die Divine Wolf Time or Sympathy Wolf Time.
Yeah. Okay.
Sympathy Wolf Time. All right, we did it. That's all. So these all look great. This is a very. I'm probably looking forward to this the most because of Demona.
I think there were 3 articles before today. We only go through 2?
Well, there's the Phoenix Born, and then there was one for Demona, and then one for Artist of Dreams.
Gotcha, and we looked at both of those.
Yeah, and there's one up today that we're not going to look at. We'll save that for next time.
We have them.
We do have them.
Uh-oh.
We don't have the very first one.
We'll do it live.
Which
I'll write it. Let's do it. Let's get into it then.
Yeah, let's
Queen of Lightning preview number 2. Oh my gosh. See, I love Knights. The problem is, I know that we've had so many games and stories told in a medieval setting with knights and horses. But I honestly just can't get enough.
It's part of our DNA.
Yeah.
Our history as humans.
Yeah. I just can't get enough. I love fantasy. Forever.
It's okay to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Reinforce. Ready spell. Spell board. Side action. Time die on the hourglass side, the middle side, if you will. Exhaust it and spend your main action to look at the top 5 cards of your draw pile. Oh, here we go. You may reveal an ally or alteration spell and place it into your hand. Shuffle your draw pile. You may immediately play the revealed card without paying any main or side action costs. Ah!
Well, it takes your main action to do this, right?
Yeah, it's good.
But obviously with the thing that can attack with a side action, that's really good. Because you can main action, then you don't have to pay the...
So true.
And you still have your side action left. Writes itself, you know?
Alterations and allies. I've been
like that a lot.
I've been looking for any ally that can attack as a side action. There are some of those, right? Aside from the one we mentioned, the Wayward Knight thing, the Charger. But I think there's other ones that have like a side action attack.
Or a side action
like
ability.
the one that no, that's what you play it as a side action, then it swings for 2.
Even just any play effect or side action ability
Yeah,
is really strong.
this is gonna be one to keep your eye on. This will be a thing for Ashes forever.
Yeah, I also like if there's a play effect, right? Even isn't Anchor Knot that does 1 when it comes in? Yeah. So you have like an Anchor Knot. If you are running a mount situation, you still potentially have your side action left. So if you have the summon as a side action as well, like you can kind of unit comes into play, you get the effect, and you can immediately put the mount on it, sort of a thing. If there are side actions for mounts, which I think there are some.
I'm looking forward to building this deck. Speaking of, let's look at Crystal Armor. Side action.
Get out of here.
Angel. And after an opponent declares attackers, you may play this spell from your hand by paying 1 turtle instead of the angel. And it's +1/+1/+1. This card is bonkers, by the way. I will have you know that this card is going to ruin everybody's day.
Okay. You attack thinking you're going to kill something.
It's going to be the most annoying thing.
Then you don't.
This is going to be a defining card in this game.
What's amazing to me is...
Mark my words.
I think it would be so easy to see this card and just think,
Yeah. No, this is a capital E. Have you seen that card? It's so good. This card is so good. This card is bonkersly good. I will take that to my grave if necessary. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that this card exists.
Yeah, put that in your will. Put this on my tombstone.
Now,
Crystal armor busted.
How cool is this though? That yeah, it's the one. This is the last thing I want everybody to know. Crystal armor. How crazy is it that you pay for it with divine or react with it as a time die? So like it comes in as like normal armor.
That makes sense though, right?
With enough time,
die,
it turns into harder crystal.
I think time die having the like instant speed stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. They're manipulating the action sequencing.
That's so cool though.
Yeah.
This card is bananas. I'm gonna build a deck around this card.
That singular card.
Yeah. This card is it. And then an Adept Duelist. A battlefield ally. It's got a side action with an hourglass and a basic symbol, and it's got swords. Again, I just love them. I just love swords. I love them. I had swords as a child. I chopped some hay bales with them.
Really?
None of them could chop anything.
I was gonna say like a real sword?
No, I mean, they were real swords, but like the kind you buy from like, Starship City and Games or whatever, where it's like
Star City Games.
It's really designed to like have on your wall with your like hookah and stuff.
Yeah.
So like one of them broke at the handle,
They
not
make
exactly
real swords.
samurai quality.
Yeah.
I'm sure people do, but
So you're saying a future good gift idea would be getting you like a genuine sword.
I don't want that anymore. But it was really awesome when I did.
It'd be a great self-protection thing out on the land. Pull a sword off the wall. Here we go.
I do have guns.
You gotta be careful. People send us gifts all the time.
Here's
like,
a sword.
Shows up.
Here's a genuine full-tang sword. Yeah. Sharp. Adept Duelist.
Capital S. Sharp.
2/1/1. Stock. This unit cannot be guarded against. Now hold on a second. Remember what guard is?
Guard is protecting other units.
That's right.
So even the Phoenixborn is guarding when they're blocking for a unit.
So if it
Which
attacks,
he's a duelist. He's coming at you. And
if
there's
it
no
attacks
choice
at
but
a
to
unit,
duel
you
him.
can't get in the way. You can't deny a duel when it's been declared. Disarm. When it's declared as an attacker, you may discard a target alteration spell attached to a unit an opponent controls. Are you crazy?
Watch out.
These are some of the best cards I've seen in
just
in
discard
all of
a massive
time.
growth, right?
Or crystal armor.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Uh-huh.
How many degenerate things happen based on alterations?
Even Ren has that ice attachment that you always play on stuff that's annoying. It's like you play him, you attack with this thing, and it's a side action to play him, so you can side action in and attack. Discards the thing and is attacking a unit you can't guard against.
I can't believe how good this is. This is crazy. And then finishing off, thanks for checking out today's Ashbury. Be sure to subscribe to the Team Covenant Ashes Reborn subscription to be the first to receive the next 2 Phoenixborn expansions when they release in 2022, and to keep the card presses online.
That's right.
They didn't say that. I added that part, but that is a part of it.
Yeah, that's how this game keeps getting made.
Talk about Lulu?
Let's
talk about Lulu.
All right,
what's the ability?
let's break this down. Lulu Firestone, battlefield 6, 16 health, so somewhat low.
Okay.
Spellboard 4. So looking at Demona's stats earlier, right? She has 1 extra spellboard, 1 less battlefield, same amount of health. Her side action, exhaust, basic resource, she has bolster, the ability. Place a status token on a target unit you control and attach a spark conjured alteration spell to that unit.
Oh my gosh, she's a status token one.
Yeah.
You love
Remember
status
I had
tokens.
the eagle that I didn't realize was an eagle and the little baby dragons last time.
Oh, yeah.
So Spark is a...
the art on Spark. Come on.
Yeah, it's so good.
Come on.
+1 attack. Spark action. Discard the spell to deal damage to a target unit.
Can we work out something where we can get big prints of this art? Nick, plaid hat.
What do you mean?
Giant prints.
For what purpose?
To put on your wall.
Do you remember when we had in our previous store, 2.0, we had the Odette.
The banner.
What's that? Media?
Yeah.
Art. It looked great.
I'm just saying, like, you want to sell something. I mean, I don't know if they have the rights to it with the artists or whatnot. They could maybe work something out. But it's like...
You know what I really love?
Give me that in a few different sizes, and you can just buy them and print them.
Let me tell you what you do. I think you make an Ashes lore book.
Oh, yeah.
Hardcover, full page art on some of the stuff. We need more background and lore going on, a little more story.
Yeah, you can have that one for free.
You can do it for free, but also we can let's make it happen. I would love to have that product around.
Wow,
as a thing.
That just looks so good.
Yeah. So +1 attack, it's great. You can use the unit, and then after it happens later, you can take an action to do a damage. That's really relevant, specifically when you're trying to, as we call it, dirtle. So just having an onboard action that you can do that is beneficial to the board state, but not a ton of, no resource or whatever. And also,
waste a lot of time with that.
Anything with 1 health is just suspect now against Lulu.
Anything with 1 health has been suspect for 1,000 years in Ashes.
Correct. Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
1 nature die. It's all for nothing.
Yeah. And then,
what is 1 health anyway? I mean, 1 health is like a whisper in Ashes.
Whisper.
It's not, and I always try to play 1 health stuff because they're always interesting units, but they just get blown away.
I feel like 1 health stuff has to give you its value very quickly.
Like the first time you play it.
Yeah, like it's in play and value has been achieved. So I'm breaking out this the pre-con deck because it's what I had last time. I also got a lot of suggestions from the community. And
you've been talking to people?
Yeah. On the community texting app, of course.
Oh,
you want to text?
It's a hidden from old Steven.
Yeah, it's
I'm not privy to those conversations.
The anti-social media way of communicating.
You talk about me a lot over there?
No, not at all. I mean, I talk about destroying you on stream and stuff. But anyways, so
did you guys see me on the stream today?
I wrecked him today.
Notably quiet yesterday after the stream. Actually, no. I playfully tweeted yesterday before the stream, excited to destroy my favorite ranger, and then later had to quote my own tweet and be like, "I did not do the destroying here." So, if you want to see Azalea doing well, here we are. So, what I like to do when I am deck building for Ashes, a lot of times I'm looking for a couple key cards, and this is good. I know earlier people were saying they're kind of very nervous to start building a deck.
Yeah,
because it is, in Ashes particularly, for me, it's because you get the first 5 is actually so nuanced what you can do in a deck.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And there's a lot of different things that I don't fully understand that you have to be ready to encounter. I don't have like a list, but there's like probably a checklist of 5 to 10 things that, like, your deck has to be able to answer big units. Your deck needs to be able to answer a bunch of units. Right? A bunch of stuff hitting the table.
You got to get mill out of there. What happens if somebody puts a defensive wall up?
Yeah, and if someone's trying to mill you, how are you going to
you kill them
overcome
faster.
that? Like I played against a mill deck for the first time since Reborn in the league, and it was like, wait a second, I can't meditate. Like meditating is way more expensive now.
Yeah.
So what's my game plan if I'm not meditating? Right? What can I?
It's like playing against PE and Jinteki. Yeah, right. It's like, I'm not playing any cards. I'll just run into your deck.
I have to run with 5 cards in it all the times. Anyways, so I like to find a couple of kind of a North Star, right? Your Phoenixborn is a good step in that direction. We already know she's basic resource type, so she's not committed to anything.
What about that? Phoenix Barrage doesn't have any on it?
Well, we're going to it's basic as well.
Okay, so then we're wide open.
Her signature card is Phoenix Barrage. Action 3 basics. Deal 2 damage to a target unit. Deal 2 damage to a target unit. Deal 2 damage to a target Phoenixborn. So she's already got a great way to deal with mid-range. Right? 2 and 2 is a really solid start here, but you can tell from that.
With Spark too, she's got a lot of good board clear potential here, doesn't she?
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm keying off of is her ability, placing a status token on a target unit you control. So naturally, I'm looking at stuff that has status token in it, right? especially in my conjurations and stuff.
That's the first thing I'll do, right? I'm gonna search status
Yeah. So we can see.
up here in the DBs. Status. Great. Okay, I need a filter. Ooh, this is a good filter. I'm over here on the Realms app, by the way. Is this live? Is this like public
I think
beta or
it's,
whatever?
so been talking with Tony, who's making this. It's called realmsapp.com. So for a long time, Netrunner DB was a thing. Thrones DB was a thing. SW Destiny DB was a thing. So it's in that style of like Netrunner DB kind of deck builder.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of.
Okay, so we've got effectively, I'd say about 30 cards that have something to do with status. Probably some actually more than others. Like,
is there a way to just look at conjurations?
Absolutely there is. I clicked the button. I'm so used to this deck builder style. It's like really, really helpful.
Those are units.
Ally. There's the deep freeze. There's the surely it's this,
I think it was
right?
that one. Go back to
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
The recycle symbol.
So let's take a look at the units that
Okay, not
deal
many.
with it.
Not many here. Okay, so we got Brilliant Thorn. When it's destroyed, you place a status token on something. So this is the
It's the chain.
evolution Pokemon style.
I have the name of that. It's the
Luminous Seedling.
the Indiglo Creepers, right?
Yeah. So it goes Creeper, Luminous into Brilliant Thorn.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And you need a certain level of tokens at each level. And is the spell that summons that generic, or is it a certain kind of type?
Let's see, what's it called?
It's just summon Luminous, probably,
Lumin-
or Indiglo Creeper.
Yeah,
I think it's
Indiglo.
Indiglo. You had it there.
Creeper.
Maybe not.
Summon Indiglo. Here, well, let's just do the whole thing. All right, Summon Indiglo Creeper is nature and sympathy.
Okay. So that's a specific lane. So
that's a lane.
I'm gonna pull out some dice so I can track this. So Creeper is nature and sympathy. You said that's the wrong one. All right. I can actually
link this here. Realmsapp.com. And you can use, of course, Ashes Live is great too. That's the standard one.
Yeah.
This one just popped up, and it's got a lot of the games that we're into. So, and I was just raised on the Netrunner DB, man.
Yeah.
I spent so much time on the Netrunner DB in my life. Ugh, a lot of time there.
A whole lot.
I'm just gonna go. Can I just go down the list? Anything you might find exciting?
Yeah, that's. We don't need to dive into each one necessarily.
So you have a spell like Augury, and it comes in with status tokens on it, so we can mark that off. That's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for units. You know?
You're looking at anything with status tokens.
Yeah. Canyon Shelter, it's going to remove exhausted units from play, place it face down under Canyon Shelter. I think this is in your precon.
Oh, yeah.
Choose a unit underneath it, place it onto your battlefield, and place a status token on it. So that's more generation than cashing in. I'm really wanting to look at where we cash in these status tokens.
And now that card is really fascinating. I played this last time. I didn't really get to utilize it.
There's a lot of possibilities.
But
here.
that's definitely a cool card to keep in mind.
Let's see. And then we've got like cards like Deep Freeze that are just going to like make things not work. Dispel is to deal with status tokens. You can move status tokens around with Drain Vitality. So far, nothing's like cashing in. Imbrute Lizard probably going to cash in.
I really love the Imbrute Lizard. So I have this. This is nature. Always love nature. Action and a basic to play the spell. Action, exhaust, and a leaf to play the lizard. I love dragons, so that's an interesting unit.
So that gets you back into leaf territory.
When it's declared as an attacker, if it has one or more status tokens, add 1 to its attack value for the remainder of the turn. If you do, you may deal damage to another target unit. So that's obviously, it came in the precon. That's not a bad unit for this.
You've always got your Standby Empower as a ready spell. When it's focused, you can remove any number of status from it to deal damage to a target unit equal to the number of status removed.
Okay.
So if you do have a unit with 2 or 3 status, you've got kind of a mixture of like, you spark them to put a status on, you remove the spark to do a damage, you remove 3 to do 3 damage. Like you can start to move damage around pretty well.
I like that.
Fighting Spirit, I believe
Explosive Growth is also awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
right. It's X equals status.
Yeah, and that's music or leaf.
Music and leaf.
Oh, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right, we're here, man. We got music and leaf times. This is the status
it's already out
tree.
there.
It's right there. Yeah. Explosive growth is something you got to keep in mind here.
Yeah, if you're messing with status tokens, that's definitely high on the list of value cards.
Ooh, that's.
So that's the kind of, I'm gonna write that down. So what I'm doing when I'm going through like this is trying to find cards that get me excited. Because we're ultimately gonna have to pick magic types, and once we hone in on the magic types, the card pool gets a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And the decisions get a lot easier. So looking for those 2 or 3 cards that send you down a singular pathway, and then everything else is a lot faster.
Everything else is money. Also, look at this comment from Jake Boss MTG. What's up, Jake? Or Mr. Boss, I don't know. Hey guys, I found the Star Wars LCG and X-Wing through Covenant, and that led me to a career in tabletop gaming.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm really thankful for these streams and you all. Well, Jake, that's amazing.
That's incredible.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. That's great. That's really great. You see Fighting Spirit?
That came in the precon. Side action time. So that's the other, I think, big consideration here. And I'm gonna have to find the time dice. Oh, they're in my little baggie.
You keep your time dice in a little baggie?
No,
separate?
This is actually my actual dice. This is my extra dice.
Oh yeah, these look gross now compared to the new ones.
Just lay that out. So we had nature and sympathy. Then time inherently messes with status, so that's obviously interesting.
Yeah. Side action, add X to the attack value of target unit for the remainder of the turn, then move a status from this spell onto that unit, and then X is the number of status on this spell. So that's not exactly what we're looking for, in my opinion.
Well, it's the interesting thing about like something like an Amber Root, which is why it synergizes, is it
pushes it over. Yeah,
you only want 1 on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have ways of placing 1 over and over again. But anyway,
that's true. And then you have Fighting Spirit out. So like, this is what Jason was saying, is like a lot of times you don't get the spark damage if you put it on good units. So you basically put your sparks on units that are garbage.
Yeah.
And then nobody wants to kill them, so you get the spark damage. But then if they do kill them, you get the Fighting Spirit pump.
Yeah.
So you kind of win both ways, like kill this little worthless unit and give me all this Fighting Spirit.
Yeah. I remember really liking that Fighting Spirit in our game.
You may play this spell. So this is Flash Strike. 1 time die. You may play this spell after an opponent has the choice to declare blockers or a guard. What are you doing, Nick? What is this language? What is this? Who made a window out of nowhere? It's like he had a wall and he just punched a window right through it.
Is that the same time when you're about to encounter a piece of ice?
That's right.
I'm about to try to find my water bottle. What happened? Did I put that somewhere?
Hide your brain, hide your life. Is it behind you? In front of you?
Oh, it's out there. I went to fill it up and never brought it back. All right, I'll deal with that in a second.
You got Flash Strike up, Bryce? Pull Flash Strike up, and then it would be so appreciated.
Dan Campbell just wanted to shout him out, saying, "I'm with you, Jake Boss, MTG, Steven and Zach are huge inspirations for the work I'm doing as well. So thanks for that."
Awesome. What kind of work
Love
you guys
hearing
doing?
that. Yeah,
Modeling?
we are.
That's hilarious. I'm just going to take that one for me.
For that,
it's a 3-pointer from half court.
that was a good shot. You got to shoot your shots, and that was a good one.
Hand modeling. So, choose a unit you control with 1 or more status tokens on it. For the remainder of the turn, add 2 to its attack value, and it gains Quick Strike. You got to play this.
That's a great card.
Yeah, put Flash Strike in the pile.
Yeah, I like that card a lot. It feels like this might end up being the trio.
Yeah, the 3, the triplet.
Yeah.
Okay, Freezing Blast removes. Gilder adds. We know that.
Wow, dude, I love a Gilder. We're already there, too.
You're going to put it in there. Leaf.
Just throw the Gilder in.
It's so good. I'm annoyed. By it.
Good.
All right, Goran Rock Brawler. This is the weird one, right? This is the Macho Man Randy Savage here.
From the ropes. Would he be a knight? What do you call a 4 costume?
He'd be a super knight. Yeah, he's like a knight plus. After a unit is destroyed, if this unit had been declared as an attacker, blocked, or guard this turn, place 1 status on this unit. If there are 6 or more tokens, remove all tokens from this unit. So you could easily use your sparks. Well, you've already done this. This is the precon, right?
Yeah.
So you build this guy up and then you unexhaust him a bunch. Yeah.
He, as a unit, gets me excited.
It's the kind of thing you would really get. He's the Hulk Hogan of Ashes.
And he's just like this giant unit and it's also not like Like there's the Iron Rhino level of unit.
You mean
This
like
is-
bad big units?
Yeah. This is one level lower, but the ability to use him twice in a turn and clear off all these tokens, like it's a big moment
Yeah.
kind of unit. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put this up here in the
Yeah.
potentially playing it kind of way.
And heaven forbid, did you get Flash Strike out?
I put it on my short list.
Heaven forbid you Flash Strike that guy.
This is cool. Check this out. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Jake Boss says, I work on a show called Game Nights where we do gameplay.
Wait,
Apparently-
I've seen this show.
Apparently
I
it's
think, maybe.
huge for Commander and Magic.
I've seen it's like big. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone's working on a show, then you know
Joe
it's
Solo
big
says,
enough.
TC inspires me to spend money on great games, both dead and alive. Jake Boss says, where'd it go? I've been cruising through the old X-Wing playlist, and Covenant's overlays and methods are always cutting edge.
Are you
Like
kidding
when
me?
you used to do reviews and had that card stand that you filmed, just brilliant.
See, I've watched this before. I've watched Game Nights before. 1.3 million views.
Wow.
We're influencing the influencers, bro.
Next level.
The power behind the throne.
Well, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Why are we not this popular? Is it because
It's just
we're
bad
not,
breaks, dude.
We're not talking into these mics?
Keep our eyes open. We'll catch our break someday.
Maybe we should play Commander Magic.
Oh.
We could get was it Jake that was working on that show?
Yeah, Jake Boss.
We
and
get
TJ.
Jake Boss. We could headhunt Jake
There
and
it
start a
is.
competing channel.
Or we could just have him on to play. That'd
Yeah,
be fun
that's how we
someday.
do the crossover.
I'm excited for the post-pandemic reality where we could do that.
We may
Or vice
have
versa.
more to gain from them than they do from us.
That's not what it's about.
Well, tell that to the marketing team. Okay, that's great. Well, that's cool. That's a cool little. That's wonderful. I love this. Okay, Flash Strike is great.
I really like Flash Strike. That's a great card.
Okay, we saw the Brawler. Guilt Link.
It's Music Note. It is Music Note. Tell me what it does.
It's a status token on the spell, though. After one or more wound tokens are placed on your Phoenix Point as a result of an attack, place one status on here. Side action, exhaust it, remove a status, destroy a unit you control to destroy a unit they control. They choose
Yeah,
that.
I remember trying that,
Yeah.
and then it's way too restrictive.
People love it, man. People play this card all the time. They love it. Absolutely love it.
Nathan Davies. Earlier you said something about Netrunner. People were like, oh, does that mean the Netrunner streams are coming? Everyone else is like, oh, it's confirmed. Then Nathan saying, Steven Zach on Game Nights confirmed.
Yeah, let's
Hilarious.
go. We'll do it. I play Magic Commander. I love Magic Commander, actually. I played
We
it a
played
few
it
times.
once. I
We
played it once. Yeah.
I played it a few times. I won't tell you when or why. Remove one status token from Hunt Master to add one to the attack
did you play
value of
Commander?
another- I won't tell
Now
you.
I'm curious.
Like I said, I won't tell you when or why.
That's got
It
weird
probably
suddenly.
wasn't at Gen Con. It may have been with old Netrunner crew. I don't know. Remove one status token from this unit to add one to the attack value of another unit you control. So you can consistently pump Hunt Master. That's interesting, and it's in your color pie.
Yeah, Huntmaster is good.
Put a spark on it, and then you side action to give +1 for a status token every time.
When you play that unit, it comes in with 2 status
That's
tokens.
right, yeah.
So interesting thing about that with Canyon Shelter. Nope. Where's it at?
Flash Strike,
Fighting Spirit. So anytime a unit's destroyed that has status on it, one of those goes here.
Yeah.
So that status tokens you don't have to get.
You don't have
right?
to earn,
It just starts,
you
right?
will,
And
yeah.
what's the side action?
The side action, you remove a status from it to give another unit +1 attack.
So I kind of, we'll see if it ends up. I'll put it on the list, but removing one to give +1 to something, and then having it attack and be destroyed or whatever, to then put another status token here. Like there's some, you're getting efficiency out of that.
Yeah.
In my mind. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I like
put
that.
Huntmaster.
I like that. Put it on the list.
Yeah. And I'll probably end up going through and getting out all the cards on the list, and then working through the actual deck when it's in front of me.
Invigorate just adds status tokens, so we're not really needing that yet. Jungle Warrior adds status tokens. Not exciting to me. It's exciting. You've always got Luminous Seedling stuff.
Yeah.
That feels reasonable, right? Memorialize, just using them that way. Now,
I like, as you're saying all these cards, I can hear Bryce clicking.
you got to talk about Mirror Spirit, dude. X equals number of status tokens.
So I have a list of cards people were, it was like, what cards would you recommend? Mirror Spirit was high on that list.
So can I play Aerodel against it and just nuke it every single time like you did?
You could.
That'd be fun.
You can't overly rely on the Mirror Spirit.
That'd be very fun. Look at Omenbringer, man. If it has a status when it attacks, you remove an exhaustion from a spell.
Yeah, I love the Omenbringer. One, because I found out it's an aggressive, angry eagle. And I love eagles. Two is that it's perfectly built for this, right? So I do kind of
like these precon makes sense.
I don't mind actually, on some level starting with the precon and like first stage is evolving it.
Yeah.
And then evolving it over the weeks to basically go from precon to something else entirely. I'm not starting there 100%, but
it's gonna be close.
These two as a foundational unit to me.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Lizards and birds.
Yeah.
I think birds usually are eating lizards, right? You think lizards ever eat birds? I guess Komodo dragons are a lizard.
Big enough lizard.
I think they can eat a bird. Like a big bird, like an eagle. I don't know. The things we'll never know. You gotta look at silver snake, don't you?
It's Manny only.
Oh.
Sad.
Right.
Sad. Squall Stallions, classic.
Number of status tokens on this unit is its attack. And you can put them there by doing the draw thing. But you can also just put them there with sparks. If you spark a Squall Stallion, does it disappear? Does it evaporate?
I think a spark on a Squall Stallion would effectively give it +2, right? Well, +3 on the Squall Stallion because the spark itself is +1. When you attach the spark, Lulu's ability puts a status token. And then it's plus what for every status token? 1?
+1, yeah.
So it's then a third.
Oh, wow.
No, 2.
It doesn't come in with 1, though.
It's 1 and 1.
I gave you the Owen Wilson wow there. It's comes in as a 2/3, right? It has 1 status and +1 from spark.
Well, it comes in, and then if you spark it, it's +2.
Right.
Is what that is.
Right.
But that's still
That's a
interesting.
good exchange rate, though.
I'm just gonna put that.
But anything that gets +X attack based on status token, spark is +2. So that's where you want to look.
Yeah.
I like that Squall Stallion can't be targeted by reaction spells. There's a lot there because all these good Ashes players,
including
love
the one you were
reactions.
saying needed to be banned, or chained.
Molten Gold? It's not a
it's the reaction. The destroy something.
Crescendo.
There it is. 3 damage, right?
Freaking crescendo, dude. Okay, here we go. Standard Bearer. Let's have that conversation.
Yeah, it's on the recommended by the community list. What's it do?
So when it comes into play, you place a status token on it, and at the beginning of the player turn phase, you place a status token on it. So every turn you place one on it.
Now, anything that starts with a status token, I really like a card I'm really keen off of here is Fighting Spirit.
Yep.
Because if the worst happens and they get destroyed, at least I get some value out of it.
You get some value. It's gonna be a value deck, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be Zach's valued
Value Town
status deck.
Yeah.
Inspire 1. So when it's declared as an attacker, you may choose a number of other attacking units up to the number of status tokens on this unit. Let's say it has 3 status on it.
Yeah.
You choose 3 other units.
Okay, I'm following.
Add 1 to their attack values for the remainder of the turn.
I like
so it's
that
more
a
of a
lot.
push strategy.
Put in Standard Bearer down. I like that a lot. Okay. Starting to form up here.
String Mage. Side action. Move 1 wound or status token from a target unit onto this unit, or move 1 wound or status token from this unit onto a target unit.
I think for 2 dice, that's too much.
Yeah, let's get out of here. We don't need that. That's a book status. Indiglow does its thing. Mirror Spirit does its thing. Time Hopper we haven't talked about.
I do love the bunnies.
With 1 or more status you may place into. So that's just putting a status token on a book, and then it gets you 2 bunnies if you have a status token on the book. But you can't put them there. You got to put them on units, right?
Well, I thought the bunnies were if there's a
That's right.
Time Hopper with a status token.
Yep. Then you get an extra one.
Yeah, so Time Hopper needs to go on the short list.
You got to have a time. In fact, I think you should probably just build the whole thing around Time Hoppers.
Yeah. Well, so I have a spell board of 4. And a battlefield of 6, which is a large battlefield. So I'm actually leaning away from the Gornrock Brawler. I think that's a different deck. And I'm looking at Omenbringer, Emberroot Lizard, potentially the bunnies as well. I have a spellboard of 4, so I still have a utility spellboard slot.
You got to have the 1 utility for sure, right?
Which I think we'll come back to ultimately with something. But in terms of having a big battlefield, you just want to make sure you can use it.
Temple Elder, 2 basics, comes into play. Resourceful 1, place a status token on it when it comes in, and then it gets 1 over time, every time. Remove 1 as a side action and a die. Draw a card.
It's close.
Could be a good way to use them, I'm just saying. And that's it for our status. It says Finn down there. It's kind of cool.
Finale. I love that.
And then Time Hopper is placing status tokens on other units.
Or
you need something. You have an X plus X. We need something to soak up status tokens.
So the Fighting Spirit, after a unit you control with one or more status tokens on it is destroyed, place a status token here. Side action, add X attack value, where it's the number of status tokens here, and you move a status token from here to a unit. So like you get 5 status tokens, right?
Yeah.
You play a bunny, and then it's like side action, move a token from here to the bunny. The bunny has +5 and now has a status token.
Yeah, it's good.
Which is really strong.
But isn't there, what are the ones that have X as their status? Like X attack equals number of status tokens on them?
The attack value.
There's some there, isn't there? Didn't you write that down?
Explosive growth.
Oh,
Step 1.
The Stallion, Squall Stallion.
And then the Stallion is another one.
I think you should find a way to get that Squall Stallion in there. But I'm partial to water horses.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Just kind of looking through the precon here really quick. I'm going to try to knock off some of these potential cards. We had Backtrack, which is a turtle plus a discard. Play the spell after an opponent declares attackers. Choose a target attacking ally and place it in its owner's hand. That's probably not going to be... That's not particularly relevant to what I'm doing. Not a bad card. Hunting Weapons, Alteration Spell, Side Action Frog. Can only be attached to an ally. Has the following ability. Declare an attacker deal a damage to a target unit. That's fine, but not particularly synergistic. And this is really, when you're coming to deck building, what you're suddenly looking for is not just raw value, but you've been talking about this recently with Fab, which is the synergy. What are the...
How do you get greater than the sum of your parts?
That's right.
That's right.
So with a constructed pool being a huge amount of cards at this point, I mean, huge compared to a pre-con deck, there's just so much opportunity for synergy. So if something's not really clicking with everything that's going on,
cut it.
It's probably a cut. Inflame, same kind of thing. I think that's a fine card, but it's not building into what I'm doing. So that's fine. Survival of the Fittest. I remember loving this card, both because of the art and in general. Destroy all units with no tokens on them and no alteration spells attached. That's a perfect...
That is the card right there. Is that a ready spell?
That's a
I hope not.
Action.
Okay, yeah, you got to do that.
It's expensive. Yeah. Action, side action, three dice. It fits into my dice pool that I'm looking at.
Oh, it's so good.
And you have to have an answer for the super wide. And then I have the Phoenix Barrage for the mid. The beefier stuff. And this is even good for the big stuff.
Yeah, it's just like it's a straight up.
And because I'm like Fighting Spirit with tokens on stuff and whatnot, and my ability.
Is Fighting Spirit your other ready spell?
Probably.
Are you going to call it then? I mean, that's it. That's your 4.
And then Cannon Shelter is not necessarily in this list.
Okay, let's get Cannon Shelter out of there.
Yeah. That was it. So Cannon Shelter I think is interesting, but it's better for bigger units, in my opinion, because you can basically take a big unit you've already used, protect it, and then bring it back later.
Yeah.
But if I'm not using giant units, which I'm not necessarily planning on doing,
you're playing the piddly stuff.
Then here we are.
Okay.
Right.
So I feel like the 4th ready spell is where I would start here.
Yeah, that's what I've got to do next. So it's really either
Time Hopper,
another unit. Let me find the Time Hopper.
You also, a lot of the cool Ashes players don't do a lot of summons like conjurations.
Yeah. Oh, there was that one recently.
That Mirror Spirit, though. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I'm basically pulling out the ones that I know are...
Watch out all your stuff having 2 life, though. Better watch out.
Well, the one thing that's kind of interesting about that Fighting Spirit is I sort of want them to go away. To, like, clear them, basically.
Yeah, because you get some value there.
Yeah, let me find it.
You can turn things big and swing.
Now, another thing, too, is that a lot of times you'll end up on one copy of each of these things. And so you can first 5 into different conjurations.
That's true. Depending
on the match. So that's worth remembering. Frostback Bear is always good. We'll eventually get to just...
Get that non-synergistic Frostback Bear out of here.
I just ran into it, you know. Oh, the other thing I have to... There's the Time Hopper. So that... I want to pull up the, what is the name of that thing?
Allies?
Nope. It's my favorite conjuration in the game.
Summon Silver Snake.
No, next. Gilder. The
Gilder.
Gilders.
Yeah, the Gilder.
Let me see where that's at.
Oh, you're going to run the Gilder, man. Come on. Quit messing around. Now, I feel like maybe you should choose between Omenbringer and Ember Root.
Yeah, I think I might have to.
And then bring in like a big Mirror Spirit or Squall Stallion to at least soak up some status tokens and provide some value.
I was concerned.
Your Gilder's like in your like hot stack of things you always play every single time.
It's my man deck. All right, let's just get the Gilders out.
What's FBB? Frostbite Bear. Yeah, got it. Nailed it.
Okay, so summon Gilder. Place a Gilder Conjuration on your battlefield. You may deal 1 damage to a unit. Always good. But then unit guard, which is important, and when it's destroyed, you put a status token on something. So that is extremely synergistic with what I'm doing.
Yeah. But if you run the Omenbringer as well, it might actually eat the Gilder. So be careful. Not actually.
Omenbringer's so good.
It was a bird joke. It's a
Mate,
bird
eat
mouse.
the mouse?
Bird mouse
These
joke,
are-
you see.
You know.
You have to get a tiger and a lamb and something across the river. You ever heard that riddle?
No.
I don't remember it.
You have one eat all of them, and then
You got to take one over that doesn't eat one, and then come back, and I don't know.
I have not.
It was a thing.
I heard that riddle.
at one point.
You
Yeah, tiger and a.
you can't just leave me
Remember that?
hanging. Like, what's the
All right,
moral of the story
I'll look it
here?
up. I'll look it up. Riddle. Cross river boat tiger. Did that get us there? Can you solve the river crossing riddle? A person is having 1 tiger, 1 sheep, and a bundle of grass. They want to cross the river, but there is only 1 boat, and it can't sustain the weight of more than 2 articles at a time. Also, you have to make sure the tiger doesn't eat the sheep, and the sheep doesn't eat the grass when they're left alone. How do they get to the other side of the river?
Let's think about that for a second. Hold on, don't tell me. So the tiger won't eat the grass.
You won't eat the grass, that's right.
So you take the grass and the tiger on the first thing, because the tiger would eat the sheep. The sheep would eat the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What's
And
the
then
answer?
what?
Well, then you go back and get the sheep.
2 articles at a time? Is that the rider? Is the person considered an article, I guess is the question.
Oh, so you can only take one thing at a time?
Maybe, I don't know.
Do you take the sheep?
Yeah.
No, because then if you take the grass or the tiger...
Oh,
something
yeah,
gets
see,
eaten.
there's your problem right there.
Yeah.
The answer is you take the tiger with the grass, so you can take 2.
Yeah.
But then you got to come back with the tiger and then go back with the sheep and then go back with the grass and then you go back with the tiger and you come back with the sheep and then you go back with the sheep and the grass on the boat and then finally you get all 3 of them on the other side of the river.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason.
That's about how it feels to build an Ashes deck.
Yeah,
It's a puzzle.
you got to take that tiger over there.
All right. Let's think about this for a second.
And like Chaos was saying, you could run one of these books, one of those books. You can run 5 books basically, and then first 4 of them, depending on the matchup.
Yeah. 4 spells.
As you were saying.
I've definitely seen that. I think I'm definitely running a Gilder.
We know that.
That's
Yeah, we started the deck building today knowing that, didn't we?
I really like Fighting Spirit, especially because you only really need one of them. That's one of the other things about the precons is they're giving you a playset, which is necessary for collecting. But having you can only ever activate 1 per attack.
Mm-hmm. And you move 1 status from this spell onto that unit. So
Now-
it's okay to have more, but it's not awesome.
Well, you place 1 status. Technically, if you had 3 of those, every time 1 goes away, you get a token on
You
it.
get 3 statuses. But every time you use it, yeah, then you could use it 3 times in a turn. But would you? You know? Are we telling tales out of school here?
Maybe that's a 3. 1 Gilder for sure.
Okay.
So if I hypothetically am on, because there's some competing units here, I think the problem with the Time Hopper is it almost fills the same Gilder slot.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a utility and not like an actual doing something situation.
I think some of it also depends on. I think Time Hopper gets better if you're doing like the Battle Master that buffs all of the units at once, because then you're putting a ton of units on the board, and then you're using the Standard Bearer to pump them all. So you kind of decide like it's kind of like Fighting Spirit is I'm gonna have 1 big attack that is threatening, or you have a board that is getting buffed by like a Standard Bearer.
Yeah.
Which one will it be?
Ooh.
It's for you to decide, you know. And then what is the best unit to buff up with fighting spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Give it a big plus. That wouldn't just die to a reaction or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Squall Stallion can't have reaction spells. And so if you fighting spirit a Squall Stallion, you know that puppy's coming in. Or horsey.
Wow. Squall Stallion also, the
draw thing?
side action puts a status on any number of Squall Stallions that you have.
No way.
But you can only have 2.
And then their X attack, where X
3
is
lives.
statuses.
I mean, Squall Stallion's really
Let's
attractive.
go, Stallion,
here.
man.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's kind of interesting, this Omen Bringer is wild, man. When it comes into play, you can look at the top 2 cards of a target opponent's draw pile. Place each card on the top or bottom. That's great. But the Hasten, which declares an attacker, if it has a status token, it can remove an exhaustion from a ready spell. So that lets you unexhaust to get a
Fighting Spirit.
second use of a thing. Well, it could be Fighting Spirit, of course.
That means you only need one. Bada boom.
Yeah. So I might be cutting this Ember Root Lizard, sadly, as much as I love the little
Get it
guy.
out of here, man. We don't need it.
So let's cut him. Cut. Let's do this. And I almost...
Dan Campbell, you still out there?
We'll come back to quantities of this stuff.
I'd like to know what you're up to as well.
All right, so this would be essentially the base upon which we're building. Definitely putting this in. Definitely love this.
So with this spread, what are your synergies that as an aspiring deck builder out there you might be looking to create?
Okay,
So what pairs with what does what?
There's a few things going on here. You summon the Gilder, you get a ping for a damage.
Always good. Universal.
Is universally good, but of course that paired with Spark is going to get you some weird ability to remove stuff, but it's not. They're both actions, so you can't do them both immediately.
You're gonna be grinding the board down.
Yeah, but the Gilder, of course, protects your units from getting attacked, and then when it goes away, it's going to put a status token on something. So that's just good value.
Yeah.
For the
Assuming
stuff
things that will have statuses on them that want them.
Yeah. So the
Enter.
Squall Stallion, when you summon it, you draw a card. That's just fine. But then you get the Squall Stallion. The Squall Stallion says, can't be targeted by reactions. Great. It also has a side action where you can place a card from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck. If you do, you place a status token on all Squall Stallions you control. Attack value is equal to the number of status tokens on it.
So you do that once, you spark, you're at what, 3 attack?
So you probably...
2 statuses plus 1. Bada boom, bada boom.
Yeah. So thinking this through, right? You spark, you're going to get a thing. On a single, that's
Nick
a side
catching
action.
us here. We need 1 charm die for our Gilder.
There it is.
I like a single charm.
Yeah. And that gives you technically access to stuff like Golden Veil, if we really want to go there eventually someday. So we don't have anything here. That's kind of the downside. Nothing here comes into play with a status token.
Got to make some decisions, don't we?
Yeah.
Gilder kind of does.
That's
no,
also,
it doesn't.
That's also where allies are going to be relevant, right? Because like Ember Root Lizard didn't come in with one either.
What does? What's on your short list of things that do? Like Standard Bearer does, Time Hoppers.
Time Hopper places a status token on something when it comes in.
Does it really? Ooh-wee. I think if you're going Fighting Spirit, man, you probably need stuff that comes in with...
Well, I think that's where the allies come in, right?
How many you got that come in with statuses?
Standard Bearer gets them. Huntmaster.
Those are some big dads.
Yeah.
I want the Time Hopper in this deck.
It's a challenge.
Dude, put the Time Hopper in the Omen Bringer slot. Roll it, you get 2 Time Hoppers. They both put 2 on the Squall Stallion. Bump it up to 4 attack. It swings in for 20 with your Fighting Spirit, you know? What's up, David?
So if you focus the Time Hopper, you can get 2 time hoppers, and they come in, they put the thing on. Hold on.
You kill a time hopper, you get a fighting spirit, you know? Doubling up, doubling down.
I'm trying to figure out
swerving right.
How did we get status tokens on units in the pre-con?
Spark.
I think it's the combo of Spark puts a status token, and then if that unit gets destroyed, the token actually goes to Fighting Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting Spirit lets you side action to put things back on.
Yeah.
So that's the status token ecosystem, which is also why I don't mind having multiple Fighting Spirits, because those are all just status tokens kind of on a...
you still got to get them on there in the first place, though. If you play something, it leaves the board, who cares?
But like if, as an example, let's say you get 2 Fighting Spirits out. You summon...
well, that's ambitious.
I don't think that's correct.
Turn 2?
You'll start with 1 in your hand, and then you just need to find another one, right? Out of 3.
2 out of 25.
But even if you have 1, you spark the stallion, so it gets +2 attack. Let's say they just immediately destroy the stallion.
Well, now hold on. I mean, is that and that's a side. So you play the squall stallion and then immediately spark it.
Sure.
Okay, that's acceptable.
So then now it's got 2 attack, 3 health. But even if they just immediately destroy it.
Yeah.
Now, if they exhaust it, is a problem. So we're going to need ways to destroy our own units in that case. Because
I like that that's your answer instead of unexhausting them.
Well, that's fine too.
You're a merciless, masochistic kind of Ashes player.
But like
we'll need to color in units.
If you have something that sacrifices a unit for some effect, right? And it clears, you don't want to have a battlefield full of exhausted stuff.
Zach Bun special, yes, I agree.
But if you destroy it, even with 1 Fighting Spirit out, now 1 of those tokens moves over to Fighting Spirit. And so it's really easy to summon something else, side action, use Fighting Spirit to put a token on it, or...
But you don't get the plus attack then.
Yeah, you just wait.
No, come on, that's you're wasting. You're making an engine that just runs itself, but it doesn't go anywhere.
No, I'm saying you wait. So you summon something, whatever that looks like.
Well, then I what if I get rid of it?
Well, that's fine. I haven't wasted my status token yet. If you're going to control it, you're going to control it no matter what it did, right?
But if it's a time hopper and I control it, I get immediately a status token on the Fighting Spirit, no questions asked.
Yeah, the problem is that the time hoppers aren't blocking, and
they don't block.
They can't block.
Oh well, who needs blocking when you have all this damage on the board?
Yeah. I still have this here, but I need to keep walking down.
All right, stay with your Omen Bringer.
So like Standard Bearer is a great example of this, right?
Yeah, put it out
of a unit. So
get
let me grab my
allies.
allies.
Yeah, get those allies in. Two brains are better than 1 during deck building.
Yeah, it is way beneficial.
It's way harder though. It's
way harder for what?
To build a deck. It takes forever because the other person's always smarter than you.
Well, half the time.
Yeah, that's right. Half the time, they just think about they think about things that you get excited and then they shut you down all the time.
Well, technically you can play Frostfang. It's not synergistic, but it's in the dice pool. So just noting that for future posterity.
3/1 with armor.
Horse and a Heart. Essence Druid is a playable card.
We're down to choosing from playable cards.
Yep. Huntmaster was on my list. When it comes into play, you get 2 status tokens.
Let's throw it on that short stack.
So there's Huntmaster.
That's technically a knight. Not really. No, it's not, is it? It's 3 dice, though. Aren't they all 3 dice?
We almost got there.
Can one of you Ashes players, your real players, tell me what a knight is?
The opposite of day. Got him.
This is why we don't have 1 million views.
Oh.
Well, we keep banning the people trying to get us there.
Yeah, I know. Maybe game night is just or game nights is just following those Twitch instructions and buying followers, likes, and views.
Oh, yeah. Would you like to be famous on Instagram stuff?
Yeah. Clearly money well spent for that.
All right, Standard Bearer. There it is. All right, time and a basic. Comes into play, status token. So that's any ally that you play.
I like it's only 2 dice and 3 health. That's good.
Yeah. These are good things. And I think that's part of the engine too, is like if you're playing the allies that if they immediately take away your value, you're at least getting the backup value of Fighting Spirit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty strong.
Value everywhere.
What? There was another ally on the short list. Let me find it.
Not Huntmaster, which I have in my hand.
No, I don't think so. There's one more.
So when Huntmaster comes into play, place 2 and place a Panther Spirit. This is a great unit.
Yeah, I needed to... Where's that Panther Spirit?
Remove 1 from this unit to add 1 to the attack of another target unit. See, what I feel like you're going to be able to do is just always have units that can have spiked attack values.
Yeah.
So your opponent never knows how to escape the damage on the board, basically.
Yeah, and the other thing that would be really nice with that fighting spirit is something that can sneak by. Whether it's a late stage card that you're playing, but like if you have a +5 sitting there,
Yeah.
anything that you can sneak in,
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like,
Yeah.
but it's the kind of stuff where it's like
Sneaky
even
damage.
allies you can play as a reaction. Like there's, I don't remember who that is. I remember that happening.
Yeah,
right?
illusion pool
What's
can do
that?
that.
It's
The sneaky boy.
what's that guy called?
The sneaky spirit.
But it's illusionist, so it probably can't be.
Yeah, who wants it?
The Shadow Guard.
Nyx as a knight is a 1 power, 1 class, 1 basic ally. Power class basic. But it's kind of like literally just doesn't mean anything anymore.
It's just a fake word.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really like. Let me see that unit. The Huntmaster. Am I playing all these dice types? I am.
Yeah, you are. Huntmaster's in.
Yeah.
Let's do 3 of them.
Huntmaster I like, and Standard Bearer I like,
Yeah.
and I like all the 3 health stuff.
Yeah.
Especially because my conjurations are so.
I feel like
weak.
I feel like you can run beef in your health and then just use your fighting spirit and standard bearers or
To get the
huntmasters
attack
to get the
values.
attack values.
Yeah.
And your sparks are giving you +1 and your status. So like, let's go. Yes, this is a lot of 3 life beef.
Yeah.
Big fan of this.
So it's coming together on that side of the fence. So then I probably need, in my mind, either, I don't think it's in the ally department. Are there events and anyone out there, like actions that somehow let you be sneaky? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I'm trying to think, how am I actually going to push through the damage?
All right, so I'm gonna look first in our pools. So I'm gonna look at basic, nature, sympathy, and time.
Yeah. Which already we've cut half the cards out, right?
Yeah.
Like that's so useful. Like on the Realms App deck builder we're using, and it's the same with Ashes Out Live. Limited by magic type. It's crazy to me once you define your magic type how how finite that pool becomes.
Yeah, that is super good. So you always got to consider accelerate, right? Take 2 side actions. So like, fighting spirit into a side action that matters could be relevant. Especially if you can do it and then attack. Remove all exhaustion from a unit. That could be a sneaker. Sneaky sneaker.
What was that card?
That was Adrenaline Rush.
Okay.
That's a horse basic side action.
Now that is, well, it's a side action. I was gonna say that is a sneaky thing because they think you can't attack.
Yeah.
And then you can, but I can't fighting spirit and do that.
But if
unless
you
I'm also on
accelerate, Adrenaline Rush,
yeah.
fighting spirit, swing, the game is over. Anchornaut's always annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Backtrack, I remember being interesting. No, that's fine. You just bump an ally into their hand.
Oh, you know what? I may as well grab. I think it's gonna end up in the stack. Explosive growth.
Yeah.
When attaching the spell, place 2 status tokens on this unit. What?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Discard other copies of this attachment.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's a 3.
All right, we need a way to sneak damage in.
Now, this is a sneaky damage way, side note, because it's side action. So you have something with 2 or 3 status on it. This places 2 more, and also it's only a side action, so you can play it and attack basically immediately.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yes, I'm looking for sneaksies.
Oh, man. If you explosive growth a Squall Stallion, that's got to be a thing that people do, right?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
definitely a thing that people do.
Flash Strike as well, which was on a short list, people were saying is another sneak.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, the balance of side actions and actions here is really amazing. Really amazing. Play the spell. I mean, Crescendo is a classic sneaky, right?
It's a reaction?
Yeah.
Yeah, that needs
Deals
to be.
3 to something
Yeah.
instantly. You got to have 3 Crescendos. That card is busted.
We like the start.
Can't play Earthquake, I suppose. I love just looking through the cards.
There's a lot of really good ones. All right, so we said Flash Strike. I'm going to get that out just for reference. And
Yeah, you gotta have Flash Strike.
There's also going to ultimately be like a couple one-of charm things, like Redirect or Golden Veil. Because once I play the Summon Gilder spell after that first round, I don't ever need that charm die again.
Yep.
So I can run a couple things that are just very specific moments, which is cool. There's Flash Strike. What was the other one we were just talking about that wasn't Flash Strike?
Crescendo.
That's in one of my decks for sure.
Yeah, it's in every deck we've ever built.
Yeah. There it is. This is actually coming together very quickly.
Ooh. Maybe I quite like this. We just want to choose a target to drop a different effect than resolve the last time chosen. Move to. You know, Generosity is interesting.
Okay.
So I like it because it's a charm or a time die. So you could use your
use.
And you do one, they do one, then you do the last one.
Oh yeah, was this in the Orc deck?
Yeah, it was in one of them. Yeah. So you can remove an exhaustion from a Phoenixborn or a spell, which could be cool. Like if you need to get another stallion out or a Gilder. Remove 2 wounds from a Phoenixborn or a unit, and then draw 3 cards.
So they're gonna get. They pick the second one.
Yeah, so they're gonna get either remove an exhaustion from a Phoenixborn or ready spell, which could not matter.
You probably play that if you've sparked and they haven't done their Phoenix.
That's right. Or they're gonna get 2 heals.
And that's a side an action. A side action.
That's both of them.
Okay.
Main and side.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah. No. Well, you could. No, you don't want that. You don't want that. Ooh, hunting weapons.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's actually a good unit.
Yeah.
For
one thing I was gonna say about synergy earlier that I'm trying to set up, and it just depends on if my opponent's messing with me or not. This is why I like Omenbringer with Squall Stallion particularly, but I like the ability to potentially get 2 Squall Stallions out off of one spell.
I'm with you so far, yeah.
Because that side action is so much more efficient when you have 2 Squall Stallions out.
Yeah.
So you play a 3 health thing, they can try. Yeah, go ahead, try to deal with it. And if you can deal with it, that's fine. Like before I invest anything else.
This is ashes, things are dying.
But if I can get Omenbringer out, and that's going to kind of try to be the. I'm going to force you to deal with my thing, or I'm going to get 2 out, and then they're going to get really efficient.
They're going to start tromping. Now, you may consider Ice Trap as far as like sneakiness is concerned. So you know how a lot of times it's like you play something, and then it's like, oh, if he side action Fighting Spirits that, I'm done. So I play something to block it. But if you Ice Trap that thing that I play, and then you side action and swing for 20.
Yeah. Yeah, Ice Trap's also synergistic with the Gilder Ping, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get the 3 health stuff off the board.
Mm-hmm. This is when they play it.
Yeah.
It's the moment they play it. After a unit with life value less comes into play, destroy that target unit.
Oh, I thought it was 2 damage. So it's just straight up.
It's just straight up, yeah. They're like, I'm gonna block your thing, and then you're like,
That's definitely on the short list.
Uh-huh. Invigorate just places 3 status tokens, 1 on each, or one on 3 units. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the Ironworker, you can check out the Ironworker.
Just
get extra cards,
standby.
extra cards, yeah.
Getting that generosity out. I don't mind the idea of it.
Yeah, a lot of signatures in here. I don't think you need massive growth in this one. You can run Mist Typhoon, although you'd have to bring in the illusion dice, so you probably won't.
I think
you can run Molten Gold. You
do.
You can run Nature's Wrath, of course.
I think you also do that at all turns.
Like all your stuff is 2 and 3 health, right?
Yeah.
So Nature's Wrath looks really good, especially with all your pings. Ugh. You could set up that perfect Nature's Wrath that kills everything your opponent has.
Now, the interesting thing about
disgusting.
Survival of the Fittest is that it destroys all units without tokens on them.
Mm-hmm.
Damage is a token. So if my stuff survives it, the Nature's Wrath, that token also protects them from a Survival of the Fittest. Not that you would play them both.
That's like a Westeros Bleeds thing.
Yeah, but you also want to be careful that you're not running too many mass removals, because if you are, then it's way too redundant, right? Like if I can clear your board over and over again, it's just like what's the purpose of this?
I think we know the purpose.
Well, besides winning.
You may draw. Actually, no, we're after add 4, outmatch is kind of interesting. You add 4 to a defender suddenly with a turtle. They attack you, and it's like forward it.
Suddenly.
Not too bad.
I think in terms of it's probably not necessary.
You got Phoenix Barrage. You're good there. Polarity Mage you can play. Search your deck, search your discard power for an alteration and place it into your hand so you get your explosive growths back.
That's interesting.
That kind of thing.
Can't play that. Always love the
Raptor Herder. I mean, you gotta always have it there.
Oh man, actually, it's pretty crazy because I'm running both dice types.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Ooh, it's just hard. You can't find sneaky really if you're gonna have to do side action buff, main action attack.
Yeah.
There's no sneaky there.
I think all the sneaky is in the side action.
Yeah.
So it's really just the threat of +5 at any point.
I think you basically need to get to a board state where they just can't play any more blockers. I think you need to wear them down. And Ice Trap is actually, I think, really good into that strategy.
Yeah, I think Ice Trap, I also think Survival of the Fittest is kind of the coup de grace, right? So like I have status tokens on stuff, you don't. Even if you're saving blockers, a Survival of the Fittest means the board clears on your side. So if I can save that until you're done.
You might consider the put 3 statuses out on the board then. Invigorate.
What's that card called?
I think it's called Invigorate.
And what kind of card was that?
It's like an action card.
I remember seeing that art and liking it and wanting to always play it and never having the right moment. There it is. Invigorate. Place 1 status, second up to 3. Yeah. That's honestly, this might be the place for it.
Yeah.
Because that makes that's a great way to just load up, make sure everything has a status on it, right? And it's like anything that's destroyed, it's protected from Survival of the Fittest, but then anything that's destroyed is going to load up the Fighting Spirit.
It also gives you really sneaky, like, double Squall Stallion all of a sudden, +1 to both, and then swing with both.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff looks pretty good.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay, hold on a second. What does this say? Where's Fighting Spirit? Add X for the remainder of the turn. Okay, so shut the front door. Look at Seeds of Aggression. Choose a unit and a target unit opponent controls. They deal damage to each other equal to their attack value. So, like, you buff their attack value. We need to look at cards that do that.
Yeah, welcome to the puzzle.
Side action +2 attack. Swing for 5 into a unit with Seeds.
Fighting Spirit is the card, right?
That's really good. That's really good.
What was the name of that card you just telling me?
Seeds of Aggression, a classic.
Close Combat's a similar vibe.
It's very similar, yeah. It might be better. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's choose an unexhausted unit you control, deal damage to another target unit equal to the chosen attack value.
Yeah.
Then place a wound or an exhaustion on the unit you control.
Yeah, 100%. And then you get the wound, and then you're immune from Survival of the Fittest. Also, don't sleep on Sleeping Bear, which comes in with an exhaustion. Survival of the Fittest at the end of your turn. All of a sudden, you're in Bear Town.
That's so many dice, but
Welcome
I like
to
the
Bear
Moxie.
Town. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you just looking through all the possible cards I could play.
Yeah, basically
I
all the
like that. Yeah,
sneakies.
just
All the sneakies. Nothing really striking it so far. Yeah, I think a bunch of mounts. We've already got all the summons.
Yeah, I think the biggest sneaky is literally just the pressure that I have the Fighting Spirit sitting there, but then I also have the Explosive Growth Reality, which is like weirdly good.
Yeah, you do basically if you ever have an opening, they're gonna lose.
Yeah,
they being me, of course.
And it's very challenging for you not to give me an opening when I have Survival of the Fittest around.
Yeah. Okay.
So
done.
I think we've
got enough.
We probably have enough. Yeah. Let me stack these up and put them away.
This is a great place to start here.
Yeah, I think we'll get to a pretty rough concept here, and then I can come back next week and test it.
Oh, see, this is true. Chaos Theory was talking about Squall Stallion with Generosity. Like most of the time, you're going to get that draw 3. And then you can side action place a card from your hand on the bottom to get the statuses. So actually, draw is good for you here.
That's what, and it can use that charm as like a secondary thing. I still think I'll probably end up with like one redirect in and maybe a
Do you do a refresh or a remove?
could do a refresh, right?
I think, is it 1 die or 2? Let's look at what the charm die are bringing.
But yeah, 2 or 3 cards total in my deck might have that charm die on them. Because again, and I think this is little efficiency plays.
Ooh, call to action is a great sneaker.
What's it say?
That's the snake, and then after an opponent declares attackers, remove an exhaustion from one of your units as a reaction.
Interesting.
So then don't block, and then send back 8.
Yeah, that's a perfect. What kind of card is that?
It is a reaction discard spell.
All right, I'm gonna grab one of those. I think that's a great example of what we're talking about. I'm gonna put a redirect just in case.
You've also got cards like Change Psyche, remove an exhaustion, place 1 on a target unit for one heart, 1 basic.
Is that an action?
Yeah.
You said it was Change Psyche.
Yeah, Change Psyche.
I'm gonna have a short list here.
Golden Veil, of course.
Yeah, it's always in the conversation, isn't it? Interesting about Golden Veils, I don't really have any big units.
Yeah, you kind of are playing the game where you can have them if you want them.
Yeah.
It won't matter in the end. I'm still going to win.
Refresh is a heart and a basic.
Yeah.
So.
And it also might not matter
Yeah.
that much. I mean, I don't think we kind of have to respond to that if exhaust is too much for this deck to handle. I know you like your sneaky one-ofs.
Well, this is built for it with the 1 charm die. Just having like weird options.
Don't forget, in the middle of deck building, it's important to stay hydrated.
That's right.
Water.
Lest we forget.
It's the...
Curious where this is going.
I was going to say it's the milk of Mother Nature, but I'm not sure that that's the most compelling thing to say.
What was the name of the card you just mentioned to me?
Oh, I don't know. You got to tell me what it is.
It was right before refresh or after refresh. Change Psyche.
What's up, John the Bard? Hail Hydro. That's so funny. Golden Veil?
What was
Golden Veil?
Change Psyche? What's it look like?
Looks like somebody touching somebody's face.
There it is. That's what I was trying
And
to
then becoming like alerted.
So there's some amount
little
of
Dharma transmission.
We'll
there.
see what it ends up being. But I think I'm on 3 here.
Let us cast aside the earthly concerns that stifle you. That's speaking my language.
I'm probably on 1 summon Squall Stallion. And I'll get 2 out either over time or because of my Omen Bringer.
Madman. Okay, yeah.
Same with the Omen Bringer.
Yeah. You kind of start with 1 of everything, and then you say, "Do I really want more?"
Yeah, I think I like the idea of 2 or 3 Fighting Spirits out, and every time a unit leaves,
start
it's
with
like they're
3.
all
See how good
stacking
it
up.
is. See how good it is.
Yeah. So then we start going.
Now, Team Water Bottles, made in the USA. 100% HCP food grade plastic. Water brand, water life.
How many allies are people putting in their
Brand,
decks
water
these
life.
days?
All of them. I swear, they're playing nothing but allies. They're playing allies and particle shields, as far as I can tell. That's the whole meta.
I think on very expensive big board clears, I've been going down to 2 of. Because you don't want too many.
And you got 3 Phoenix Barrage, probably, right?
I think that's
It's your Siggy.
it's so good. It's like on basics, being able to basically do a Molten Gold that also does 2 and 2 to units is just like
2 Standard Bearer, 2 Hunt Master, right?
on 2s.
You don't want to get clogged. 2 Nature's Wrath
Well,
for sure. You don't want 3 Nature's Wrath.
Let's play this out. Opening turn to play all of my stuff. Let's go back to the basics.
Back to
here.
basics. Back to basics. Find your first 5.
Anytime I can spend a basic, I'm putting it as nature because it's the best die in the game.
That's right. That's wise.
So that's just a rule that I'm doing. Okay, so to play this, I need a horse. And to use it, I need this and a basic. To play that, it's that, and then summoning here. That cost me a time.
1 time, sir. And a heart.
And a heart. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then
You got 3 dice seed. You can play one of those knights, and you get 1 more card, right? So
Yeah.
you got to play a 3-er. Hunt Master. Cheeky survival of the fittest.
Huntmaster is a great.
You can play a Phoenix Barrage first turn. You've got a lot of good options here on a first 5.
Yeah, so you're looking at what first 5s are actually available to you. And I think Huntmaster is high on my list for something that comes in with status tokens. And it's 2 units. Like, that's great value. For Phoenix Barrage can be good. Survival of the Fittest even. That's crazy. And it's the same dice types.
No, the time. You're going to have to turn a time into
There
a
it
basic.
is.
So if you do like this, and this, you can do either, right?
Yeah.
So you can flip-flop these guys for the survival.
Now, if I want to use Lulu's ability, it's a basic.
Oh.
So let's back this up. Basic here. And then now we got a 2-cost play coming up.
So now we need the 2s.
Yeah. So
You got the 2s blues over there.
Standard Bearer is a great example of this. That's also something that the longer it's in play, the better you're doing. So technically, that's a fine line.
That's kind of your only one, man. Hate to break it to you, dude. Unless, is Omenbringer going to clear one of these spells?
Yeah.
To use again.
Because if I double Squall Stallion, right,
I'm
going to need another music and a basic if I actually pull that off.
Man, the old Ash's Abacus.
Yeah.
Coming in. But you also have a 5th card slot you don't necessarily want to waste, yeah? First turn Generosity.
Oh, actually, to summon the Gilder. So now
you have 2 floating only?
only 1 floating.
What are the? Oh, you're looking at those guys. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 1
That's
floating.
actually acceptable, right? So you can rock an Invigorate. You can rock an Ice Trap.
Yeah,
A Flash Strike.
a Crescendo.
A Crescendo.
But you don't have the card for Crescendo.
A Generosity. A Generosity on first turn is really good because they might not have any wounded Phoenixborn or...
And it's the cards for the Squall Stallion.
Yeah.
So
Squall Stallion's going to be dead, man. Immediately dead. It's
well,
going to
I
die
also
so
get
fast.
a card off of the Squall Stallion coming out,
Yeah.
which is the card I need for Squall
You're
Stallion.
gonna have you're gonna have a lot of cards, so you might actually draw into a Flash Strike or an Ice Trap with your 1 remaining die. You're gonna have some choices to make.
Interesting.
What's up, Adam D021? Said, honestly, I don't pay attention to the Ashes stuff. All right, well, see ya. Just kidding. But I came across Law of the Lions at a used bookstore. Is that this Ashes? That is this Ashes, but likely, extraordinarily likely, it's Ashes the original. The original
1.0.
vintage. 1.0.
Is it in like a big box that you can see the deck in?
So if you do get that, welcome to Ashes. But there's some of the cards in Laws of the Lion that have been updated to Ashes Reborn. And the upgrade kit for Ashes Reborn has those cards, as well as all the cards that were updated across the entire line of Ashes 1.0, which was like probably 20 SKUs or so. 15. So if you bought just that, you probably would not be able to play the Ashes Reborn.
He says you can't see the deck, so it's probably the 2.0.
No way.
Yeah, crazy.
Then yeah, it's Reborn. It doesn't say Reborn on it. Then no, it's not. It should say Reborn, right?
I don't know.
Let me look.
It should be
Go to
red.
Plaid Hat. Let's
Is
go
it
to
red?
Plaid Hat Games and we'll look at it. Store, or I guess our website. In fact, I'm gonna go to me. I know how to find stuff here. All right, let's see. Law of the Lion. We got Song of Soaksend there. Law of Lions. There it is. It is red. It doesn't. Yeah, it should. If it says Reborn on it, it's Reborn. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Then it's not.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Oh man.
Make some choices.
Yeah. It's also the kind of thing where just because you play a spell on turn 1 doesn't mean you have to summon anything. Like, I could play the Summon Omenbringer for no dice and then not actually use it if I decide to go a different path.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of.
What's the most effective thing to do on turn 1? I mean, and it can vary by first 5, right? Phoenix Barrage against the big The big swarmies or Nature's Wrath you might pick up if it's like a Koji deck or something.
Nature's Wrath is a single die
Yeah.
moment. So is Ice Trap.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on who I'm playing against, I could literally start with either a 1 to everything or a 2 damage to something as it comes in.
Yeah.
Which is pretty annoying, right? You summon a Gilder on the first turn, your opponent's like, Ice Trap.
It's exceedingly annoying.
It's just very annoying.
And then, like, if you don't play Omenbringer, you can bring in Huntmaster instead. So I think your last slot is variable.
Yeah.
But I think you probably go Nature Die, if I'm being honest.
You always go Nature Die.
Yeah.
But then what that also does is it informs the where you lean in the rest of your deck, right? Because like even in this setup, I've got 2 time dice. One of them I'm gonna use like when I play Fighting Spirit, but otherwise it's just Omenbringer
or Survival.
Yeah. So you got to be careful when you have
Standard Bearer.
Because like in this setup, right? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nature dice. And these are basics, so that's already a lot of nature. If I'm looking at here and how much nature I'm spending, it's not that much.
Ice Trap, Nature's Wrath, Explosive Growth,
Invigorate.
Pretty significant
I'm concerned
amount.
I don't have enough time dice, I guess is the... So as an example, swapping this one out for a time die.
Sure.
Because I can. There's also basics here. I'm already on 4. It's 4, 3, 2, 1 here, right? 4 nature, 3 time, 2 sympathy.
You only really need a time die for Flash Strike, Standard Bearer, Survival.
Summon Omenbringer.
Yeah. You got 2 a turn.
Well, I'm also looking at Generosity.
That's your heart, though.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably spend your heart on that every time. If I'm a betting man.
Yeah. And Standard Bearer.
Chris, you did miss Demona. You can hit the beginning of this video. If you want to see some hot takes.
I think I need 1 flex time dice.
All right.
Because these are going to be in deck.
We need to write down. We're going to change it to nature, maybe, during testing.
Yeah. I mean, I've already got...
Here's what you do. Let's start you with a time nature die in the first game, and then see how often you want one or the other.
Yeah. Well, mainly, this choice actually will just dictate what all the other cards are. So, like, as an example, let's say I'm doing 3 Phoenix Barrage, 2 Survival of the Fittest. Let's just put 2 of these in. Start stacking some stuff up. We'll start at 6 allies. That might be too much. But I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19. Say, slide some of this. I like this Generosity a lot. 19, 22.
Cut one of those Generosities. You might only need 1 for first 5 purposes also.
Generosity?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't drawing extra cards on the first 5. You're so resource heavy.
You got to have at least 2 Crescendos. You got to have at least 2 Flash Strikes. You got to have at least 2 Explosive Growth. So you can go ahead and get that done.
So let's just say you do 2s, right? Where's Flash Strike?
Those are like your Bugatti cards.
Yeah, but this is kind of where I was starting, and I'm going to put these in my short stack. The stuff I'm not running 3 of goes into a pile. So even here, it's like these both require sympathy, explosive growth, and crescendo. And right now, obviously the Squallstein costs me 1 to play, but then I don't need the second one to summon unless I'm summoning twice a turn. But like that only gives me 1 sympathy currently, and that's where the dice ratios are. But like, no, I don't want any other cards that take sympathy.
Sure.
So like Huntmaster immediately is taking sympathy. So now I'm really at my peak sympathy.
Or you just change your time die to sympathy die.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say it's 2, 2, and 2, just to get a feel for these cards. This is staying. This is my short stack. I think close combat is so good.
It's a good reason to run that frog.
Yeah. Let's just put a bunch of 2s in and see how many cards we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's extra?
Cut. You got 2 Generosities or 3?
2s. Not sure yet. You're like, cut it into... All right. It's a great way to have a lot of cards in the deck and see what's working. Right?
Sure.
Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 twos is 16. 25. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So without even Invigorate being talked about.
Yeah, Invigorate's out of here, man.
I think it's still in my short stack.
Yeah.
One of these
It'll be in the testing stack.
Yeah. So probably cut one ally is where I'm at.
Yeah, I can see that. Standard Bearer, Huntmaster, your choice. I mean, if Huntmaster is harshing on your sympathy die.
Yeah. Let's take one Huntmaster out.
Ooh, it's so good, though.
Yeah. But now we have a deck.
We can test it.
I think it's easy, and some people really enjoy this, spending a ton of time right here and running the math and doing it. But like you get into that first 5, and you'll know very quickly on that first turn if your opening is in the ballpark.
Yeah,
and if that's not, everything else kind of cascades away.
Yeah, you can't really catch up after that.
I highly recommend finding a lot of the stuff you want to do, getting a deck together, and getting it to the table. Because you will learn so much so quickly from doing that.
All right, so run us through one more time the card choices as they sit. Conjurations, how did we end up here?
All right, so we have one Element Bringer. Which
and its power is?
Basically, it can let me unfocus a spell.
Its role is to do
so
that,
I can
okay.
get 2 Squall Stallions out, or I can use the same Fighting Spirit multiple times.
Okay.
You get 4 or 5 tokens on a single Fighting Spirit. It's nice to be able to use it twice in a turn. And then Squall Stallion, when it comes into play, you're going to draw a card.
Some would say that's your main threat, right?
Yeah, because it's got +1 attack for each status token on it. So, Fighting Spirit, right? You move 1 over. Let's say you had 3 here. So it gets +3 from Fighting Spirit. It's also getting a status token from Fighting Spirit. So now it's +4. With Lulu's ability, it's even more because it's +1 from Spark. It gets a status token from that.
You can build just a standard good horse. You don't even need tricks.
And then in the event that your opponent, and it's got 3 health, so it's harder to deal with. But if your opponent gets rid of it, you're at least getting some value back because each Fighting Spirit's going to get a status token back, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then the Gilder, just value.
I think it's protecting that stallion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if you protect it and the Gilder goes away, the status token gets placed on the stallion. So it's just those are incredibly synergistic. So that's kind of the core that's happening.
You can also you can end up with a sneaky Gilder, like a +5 Gilder out of nowhere that people won't expect.
It's not at the top of people's list to deal with.
Yeah, right.
and for good reason. Then in my deal with lots of threats, Nature's Wrath is good for a bunch of 1 health stuff. Most of my stuff has 2, or actually all my stuff has at least 2 health. So that's a really good card. Survival of the Fittest. My stuff that survives will have tokens, either status or damage at that point. In general, too, they play something really expensive. I have a bunch of things with status tokens on it. This is just a crazy
It's a great
card.
spell, yeah.
And then Phoenix Barrage is can kind of do both. It does 2 damage to a target unit, so you can do 4 to a single unit. You can do 2 and 2 to clear a couple units, or you can queue them up, right? And then you also do 2 to their Phoenix Born. So that's signature card, super good. Then I have 2 allies, Standard Bearer and Huntmaster. They each come into play with status tokens. Standard Bearer can basically let me boost other units. And the longer it's there, the more units it can boost. And technically, my board could get sort of wide, which could be really powerful. Huntmaster is just really efficient. Comes in with status tokens, also gets a Panther Spirit. And then has the ability to buff something with a status token. And then if it goes away, I'm also happy about that. Then you have your toolbox. Generosity, likely going to end up drawing me a lot of cards, removing exhaustion from a Phoenix Born, so maybe I can double Spark in a turn. Or at least healing 2, which is fine too. Just 3 things I'm good with. Flash Strike.
Woo.
Yeah.
I think that might be the essential card.
Yeah, it's just +2 and also strikes first. That's so good. I'm probably going to end up on 3 of those.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. Being able to take something off the table and not lose a unit is just crazy value. Explosive Growth is also crazy in this environment. 2 status tokens alone, it would probably be fine value for me. Squall Stallion getting +2 from those 2 tokens. The token's protecting it from Survival of the Fittest. The token's also synergizing with Fighting Spirit, etc., etc.
Crazy. I mean, you think about that scenario where like you've used your Fighting Spirits and they're exhausted, and then your opponent's like, okay, I'm clean, and then your last play is Explosive Growth on the Stallion. Swing.
Yeah, it's really bad. And then you have the instant speed tricks, Crescendo. again, I have healthy stuff, right? So they have 3 health. I have like let's say a standard bearer just sitting over here, click getting tokens.
I think you also like having 1 damage on your stuff so that for survival of the fittest doesn't nuke them.
So you can just easily find a place for the damage. 3 instant damage when you have the ability for a fighting spirit to give you a really beefy attack is crazy. Close combat also functioning here. You can technically fighting spirit and then not even have to attack with the unit to get the benefit.
Pretty standard concept too in deck building, that kind of redundant threat. So like if they're covering up your main game plan where you can't sneak a fighting spirit swing through, you still can get value out of fighting spirit by combining it with close combat to take a big unit off the board.
Yeah. And being able to deal with a really big unit is important. And especially for a single die, like that's really crazy. Survival of the Fittest can do it too, but like that costs both action, side action, and 3 dice.
Yeah.
So close combat's a good trick, and then ice trap's also a good trick for this exact strategy.
Yeah.
They think they're gonna put a Gilder in play to protect the unit and or block for their Phoenixborn. You nuke it, and then you fighting spirit and get it in. And that's more or less what's going on.
Sounds really compelling. I love it. And then I think the other piece of this, the kind of blanket that falls over the top of the whole thing, is you have the combination of Spark doing 1 damage to things, Lulu having the Phoenix Barrage, of course, all these nature dice that can also ping stuff. You've also got the Gilder that can ping stuff. So like there's also a lot of just spot removal that can solve problems, especially like a Nature's Wrath combined with like, next turn doing 1 here, or summoning a Gilder doing 1 there. A lot of board control here. So I think you'll be able to control the board pretty well, and then always threaten this big hit from Fighting Spirit to end the game. It's like kind of a late game Bugatti.
And obviously the compound interest that you're gaining on Fighting Spirit. I do like it being focused, just because... Yeah. 1 unit going away, turning into +2 later, is really weird value.
Any particular concerns you end up with at this stage of the game?
There's an engine here, and that engine has to get going, or you're never going to have a ton of damage. So like things that would concern me are like heavy exhaustion.
Yeah, because it also means that your survival of the fittest stick those units on the board still, so they stay there exhausted and they don't give you slots or re-summon abilities.
So my battlefield getting full and having no way to actively deal with them myself like that. Now technically like Phoenix Barrage, I can do 2 damage to my own units.
That's true.
If I need the spot. And it's not the whole value of the card. So you do 2 to 1 of your units to clear board, do 2 to 1 of theirs, and then you also do 2 to their Phoenixborn. And then the other thing would be, what was the other thing I was going to say?
You might find some hands where you draw into double Fighting Spirit on turn 1 or turn 2 technically, and then it's like it's fine, but you also like kind of need a unit at that point, or maybe need a trick or something, and so you kind of have to play a long game if you hit that kind of stuff, where it's like, oh, I'm going to be here for a while before I get that big swing.
Now, the one other kind of longer tail piece of this deck that's at least interesting is the Squall Stallion draws me a card when it comes into play, and the side action lets me put a card on the bottom of my deck. So there's the like Fab style stack the bottom of my deck, so that I know my bottom 5 by the time I'm getting there. And I think that could be a critical strategic piece of the structure.
It could be. You got like 3 crescendos on the bottom there, and it's just like, all right, it's time for an orchestra. And you ended up on what? 3 time, 4 nature, 2 sympathy, 1 charm. And it's funny when you look at an Ashes deck, it's beautiful.
4, 3, 2, 1.
When you look at an Ashes deck and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many dice types. How does this happen? It really, dice kind of follow from the concept. It's not that you sit down and say, I'm going to build a deck with these 4 dice types. Now you could probably do it that way. But most of the time, it's like, what's the synergy? And then what dice can narrow that down into a playable deck? And this is where you ended up. You needed that one for the Gilder, and then it covers a couple other slots.
And I think, moving from like the 5 into 5 of most precons, as you saw, like I in my opening 5, I have 1 charm die I need, and I get the Gilder out. And it doesn't require me to keep using the charm die. So then you can include a splash of flavor that uses that charm die, and I was using,
and that's a good splasher right there.
Generosity, right? But I have a little bit of extra value because I can technically use a time die. So the odds of me rolling into something that is critical, I think by the end of it, I'll probably end up on 1 or 2 more like snake level interactions.
I think that if you're in like the big time Ashes, just having that 1 die there on a snake makes them have to honor those kinds of cards, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
if you have to do that.
I really like Golden Veil. I like Redirect. Redirect's one of those ways that I can get rid of one of my own units.
Yeah.
Right? And so like an exhausted unit with a status token, you attack, I stop all that damage, put it onto that unit, clear space on my battlefield, put a status token on all of my fighting spirits.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised if a Redirect ends up around. We'll see. But I have a concept good enough now to get on the table and iterate. That's the process we'll be going through.
We did it. Let's zoom it on out. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We made it. We made it through the initial build of Lulu Firststone. And I think it's going to do pretty well. So next time, what we're going to do, I'm going to play a deck that is known to be good. It could be the Echo deck, any of the fancy Shuffle Bussy, Impossible German, Chaos Theory, the real players. Any of those decks. So we'll probably do an Aradel Zoo style deck. That's a classic template we need to test against. We'll do like a heavy exhaust style template that we need to test against, and just try to hit the major archetypes, maybe a swarmy kind of deck, and then just start making some changes. Maybe write down what's working, what isn't. We'll run through a couple of those test games over the next few streams as they come up, and then we'll end with a tweaked, kind of ready to go Lulu deck that we'll probably post somewhere or keep for ourselves forever.
I'll probably be putting this after we're done here on that Realms app.
Cool.
Because it lets you have the different iterations.
Yep.
So I would like to have a documented pathway that we went on here.
Yeah, super cool. All right, well, hey, thanks, everybody. If you are curious about Ashes, or if you just watched this and said, ooh, these cards are pretty, check out all of the material that's out there for Ashes Reborn. It's a great game. You can grab a core set, get started, and then hop on the subscription. This is an interesting model. Basically, as long as there's enough people subscribed to get expansions through our subscription service, they will keep getting printed. And if that ever stops being the case, we'll probably let you know and then say, like, well, if it doesn't happen in the next couple of months, we will have to stop printing those expansions, or rather Plaid Hat will have to stop printing them. So it's a cool thing. You might check it out. And then if you are an Ashes player, which I imagine most of you are here at this point, then hop on the league. It's going to charge next week. Pretty sure it's next week.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-month league. This is kind of the window. In the next 3 months, this is the last of the window being open for you to join up until 3 months from now. And you join the league. You get, you want to pop up, Bryce, the promo? Who is it? This is Jessa?
Jessa.
So we'll show that Jessa. You can see the full art. I like the full art, the back of that card. So this promo card, and then a play set of the 3 anchor knots that are Jessa themed as well. So those will all be shipped to everybody who participates in 8 of the 12 games of the league. So basically, as long as you hit 8 weeks out of your 12-week period of league play, you'll get shipped those beautiful promo cards.
That's right.
So we hope you check that out. You can go to Cove. I got a pretty link for this. Cove.link/ashes-league. Look, that's a very, very logical linking style right there. You can go to that and join the league right there. It'd be great. And we hope to see you there every Wednesday.
That's right.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.